Hello, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome to GFT's Capital Markets Day 2025. It's great to have you with us here in Frankfurt or online. Great to see you today. Today, we want to give you an inside look on how we are working with our clients on some of the most forward-leaning projects in the industry, from AI-driven modernization to next-generation core systems and large-scale digital transformation. Artificial intelligence and emerging technologies are becoming central to how financial institutions operate and innovate, and GFT is playing a meaningful role in shaping that evolution. Let me start by introducing the leaders who will set the tone for today. Sorry, I need to go there. From our board, we have Marco Santos, our global CEO, and Dr. Jochen Ruetz, CFO and Deputy CEO. Both will begin with our 5-year strategy update, sharing where GFT stands today, what we have set in motion, and where we see the next stage of growth coming from, and why GFT is the artificial intelligence digital transformation challenger. So, you'll also hear throughout the afternoon from several of our senior experts, including Ignacy Barry-Villardell, our global head of AR and data and regional head of business development for Western and Continental Europe. We will have Dean Clark, our head of technology office and chief technology officer of GFT UK. We have Floris van Geest, since January this year, our Senior Vice President for GFT Software Solutions, and Sascha Beck, Executive Director and Financial Service Lead at GFT Germany. Before we move on, I want to extend a warm thank you to my investor relations colleagues, Nicole Schüttwort and Maren Dallas, as well as the event colleagues, Marielle and Sabrina, for their tremendous work in preparing today's event. Would have been impossible without that. Thank you. We are also delighted to welcome outstanding speakers and partners who bring valuable perspectives from leading institutions across the industry, and I will introduce them by order of appearance. We have Glaucio Juanico, IT Superintendent from Bradesco Seguros from Brazil. We will have Mike Laws, Managing Director at Deutsche Bank, coming from UK. We have Alexander Graf, Senior Vice President and Managing Director of FICO from the US. We have Alexander Leisten, General Manager at DKB Code Factory, coming from Germany. And Eric Marcoux, Vice President IT, Property and Casualty Insurance and Corporate Services at Beneva from Canada. We truly appreciate your participation, your insights, and your partnership. Before we dive deeper into the agenda, let me briefly connect today's insights with our last Q3 performance and the progress of our 5-year strategy. GFT delivered solid results in the first 9 months, with double-digit growth in key regions like Brazil, APAC, Colombia, and the USA. At the same time, we continue to scale the strategic pillars of our plan, driving AI deployment across markets, expanding WINGS as a core modernization engine, and strengthening our position as the AI-centric digital transformation challenger. These achievements give us strong momentum for the midterm as we move in the next phase of our strategic execution. And much of that you will hear today reflects exactly that. So let's take a look at our agenda. We start with our 5-year strategy update from Marco and Jochen. We will then move into agentic AI modernization with WINGS, with Ignacy and Dean. We will move into a coffee break then. Maybe you need to have some break and some coffee after that AI deep dive. Next, and this connects very well with the technical insights from Ignacy, we shift to the client's perspective with the impact of AI on productivity from Bradesco Seguros, Glaucio Juanico, and Ignazi. We continue with the crucial topic of AI in anti-financial crime, featuring Michael Laws from Deutsche Bank and Floris from Heast. We stay with that topic of anti-financial crime with Alexander Graf from FICO, who brings deep expertise on decision intelligence, analytics, and risk technology across financial institutions. And we'll talk about FICO's and GFT's global partnership, what we will announce shortly. So this is kind of a small spoiler. We then explored the joint success with DKB and GFT for efficiency, agility, and digitization, presented by Alexander Leston and Sascha Beck. And this will follow by future core systems and tech leadership with Eric Macou from Beniva and Marco Santos again on stage. And Marco will then also return for a brief closing message. So this is the agenda. I think we put very interesting things together. And with that, thank you again for joining us. We appreciate your engagement, your partnership, and your trust in GFT. We're excited to show you how we are shaping the next chapter of AI-centric digital transformation together with our clients, partners, and all of you. And having said that, Marco, I would hand over to you. The stage is yours.
Thank you. So, good afternoon. Welcome, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us here in person, and thank you very much for those who are joining virtually. So let's get started. We have a pretty full agenda, and I would like to start with a video that our marketing team created that is helping us on bringing the positioning of GFT. Let's take a look on this video, please.
This is how revolutions begin. Smart contracts and NFTs are the future of business.
Blockchain technology will change the world.
The impossible is now possible. The next era starts right now.
By AI.
Everything changes.
It's the AI.
Others create hype. We create impact. Let's go beyond the hype.
So that's GFT. Let's go beyond the hype. What you see out there, too much noise, too much hype. We create impact with artificial intelligence. We believe on that, and we are doing that. We are the artificial intelligence digital transformation challenger. That's our positioning. And I'd like to also share with all of you some personal insights and learnings that I had. So I met two brilliant minds on the artificial intelligence industry. One of them is Demis Hassabis, the Google DeepMind CEO and founder of DeepMind, who takes care of all artificial intelligence projects at Google on a global level. He has 6,000 data science, AIs, artificial intelligence engineers at Google. Everything is under him. And I met him in person in the United States, in California, this year, in the second semester. And it was amazing to see the way that the artificial intelligence is evolving with building blocks of models like Gemini and other models, large language models, small language models, and elements and agents that they are building on top of each other. That is exactly the vision that we have for Wynxx, and we're going to talk later on about it. I also met in person in Berlin, in Germany, actually 2 months ago, Sam Altman, which is the number one mind and person, individual in the world in artificial intelligence. I met him in the Axel Springer event, awards, for a dinner, and then for a workshop on the day after. I talked to him in person. And I could talk hours here about my learnings, right? It was an amazing opportunity for me, for GFT. And one thing that stands out, the artificial intelligence, the progress and evolution of artificial intelligence has been material. This year in 2025, things are moving and evolving so rapidly. And Sam Altman, he believes that in 3 years from now, there will be so many change, so many things that are difficult to predict. And obviously he's working 24/7 to be leading on that. And on the same way, I am working 24/7 to also lead with artificial intelligence for our industry. But that's the good learning. Things are changing so fast. And we're going to see the strategy of GFT that is to tackle these transformations. So this was, for me, it was an incredible learning. And now taking you to what's going on, trying to bring a real understanding about the transformation and impact of artificial intelligence into our industry, information technology, IT. Because there are lots of people talking. When you talk to investors and you talk to analysts, when you talk to clients, lots of questions and lots of inputs, feedbacks. I'm going to bring you not the hype, tangible results. So let's try to understand this. And to do that, I usually utilize a quite known analogy, the Gutenberg printing revolution. Before the Gutenberg printing revolution, we were writing books with hands for thousands of years. Monks were writing books by hands. And with the Gutenberg printing revolution, we created a complete change in the way that we think, that we learn, that we create, that we share ideas, that we scale and mass product books. And we created an infinite numbers of jobs. So we scaled it up massively. We were able to create universities because of that. We changed the way that education works. We created the Renaissance, and the modern age arrives. From Middle Age to the modern age. That was the change. And we created lots of jobs. We even created companies to create the machines for that. We created inventory companies, We created logistics. We created even companies to sell books. And we created e-commerce companies to sell books. And then we created Amazon.com to sell books. That was the beginning of Amazon. So it's a massive scale up and changing. And on the same way, the same analogy, that's what's going on now. We understand that, GFT. So what we are doing today, we are writing software with hands, hand writing, hand coding. And with artificial intelligence, we are unlocking completely new sets of opportunities to obviously produce things faster, be more efficient, time to market, to reimagine the way that we think, learn, and create technology, software, and naturally laying down the foundation of a new era with artificial intelligence. This is beautiful. And we have today with WINCS and artificial intelligence around 53 case studies of real impact I'm just gonna talk about simple things. One major financial service, car manufacturing company, our clients, they started a journey to modernize their core banking loans. We put 2 proposals. We are doing that project with AWS. We put 2 proposals. One proposal doing the first piece of the project of the core banking modernization, which is the documentation, just the first phase documentation, 1 proposal, 6 people, 1 year and a half. 1 year and a half, $1 million. 6 people to work on that. We put a proposal. We put a second proposal using WINCS, artificial intelligence, generative AI, to do the documentation of the same system. 6 people, 6 weeks. 100K. The client chosen the artificial intelligence one, we already delivered. It's not hype, this is reality. We already delivered that. Client is happy. And by the way, the deliverable that we generated with 6 weeks, we're using artificial intelligence for the documentation of this. It has a better quality than if I had 6 people working for 1 year and a half trying to document millions of lines of code. This is groundbreaking. This is artificial intelligence creating impact in a simple case. I could go on and on with more complex cases, like in a regulatory change in Brazil, that they changed their social security from numbers to numbers and letters, which is a huge transformation in the whole industry, multi-industry in Brazil. And we deployed artificial intelligence to solve that problem. And we simply wiped out all the competition. We put proposals over the last 3 months and we won all of them. In financial service, in banking, insurance, in telco, everywhere. Because we are using artificial intelligence to do something different. And we are doing something new. It was a regulatory request. And I could go on and on and on. So pragmatic, simple, tangible results. Now let's talk about our strategy. I talked to Sam Altman. Sam Altman said, I wish that all companies would move to become an AI-centric organization, regardless of the industry. So we are more than ever confident and happy to have designed and have communicated that strategy. We want to be the best responsible AI-centric digital transformation company in the world. So that's our vision. And we have the mission to bring AI-centricity, digital transformation, for software development, for technology services, for all the industry. And we are positioning ourselves as the challenger. I wanna challenge, and I am challenging the traditional IT service industry. I am a challenger inside my clients. I wanna challenge and help the clients challenge the status quo, the legacy systems that they are there, the current ecosystem of partners that are doing those legacy maintenance for 20, 30 years, doing the same thing, super hard to change, complex to deliver new functionalities, costly. We wanna, and we are the challenger on this. And that's why we are positioning as the artificial intelligence digital transformation challenger. Our 5-year strategy, so we talked about the vision, mission, position. We have strategic goals. And the strategic goals are, number 1, fast learning, adaptive, and an innovative organization. As Sam Altman told us, as Demis Hassabis, if you are not this, if a company in the IT industry are not a fast learning and adaptive organization, it's challenging. Because we need GFT, we need to be prepared for a next change that happen in 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, whatever. Something new come that replaces OpenAI ChatGPT or replace completely Google, whatever. We want to be positioned on the forefront of that shift, of that change. That's our position. So that's our strategic goals. And naturally, an agile company that orchestrates our job, our work with agentic work, naturally a global AI-centric market leader, and democratize it, AI as well. And we wanna, so that's my commitment. We wanna create a company to last on these super changing environments that we are in information technology. I want to have a company in 3 years from now, 5 years from now, that is ready for the next shift, a next leapfrog, a next wave of opportunities. And so vision and mission, strategic goals that are long-term goals to last. And we have our ambitions. We have ambitions, and we have ambitions and bold goals. I want to almost double the company on our long term. That's our ambitions, and we have that ambition to make our revenues 1.5 billion, to improve considerably our margin to 9.5% EBITDA adjusted, and to do so, we need to increase the high value added service that we have, transform everything that we do non-AI with AI, high value added services, and also improve our cost structure with more nearshore and offshore. We have several strategic initiatives. Myself and Johan are gonna cover the great majority of them, but we are not gonna cover today, but just gonna mention, and I strongly believe on that, and the team also strongly believe on that, to globalize more the company. Coming from a federated silos company to a more global organization. So that's a strategic initiative that we have that is changing many dimensions of the company. It's moving. Naturally, we want to transform ourselves as an AI-centric organization on the software development with Wings as our spearheads, and also all the other services around it. We are also focused on positioning ourselves into the market. Positioning as the AI, artificial intelligence, digital transformation challenger with a next generation brand design. We launched our new brand and so on and so forth. We also won the Generative AI AWS award. We also won many other elements of Gartner positioning of generative AI, and so forth. We naturally want to keep innovating, investing in asset creation as we did with Wings. We want to grow Wings. We want to create more Wings. And the other strategic initiatives that we are going to cover right now. So let's talk about strategic initiatives for sustainable revenue growth, areas that can bring large-scale opportunities for us. First, implement our global delivery platform, focus on smart shore and startup India. So that is one important fundamental element of our strategic for the 5-year strategic plan. And it's simple. Before GFT, we had some delivery centers, and the delivery centers were federated, also connected with one market and another one with 1 or 2 markets. Now, we are harmonizing everything, bringing that into a big platform of delivery. We have one central demand leader for that, one center supply of all the delivery centers in a global platform. And every proposal that comes across the globe for a project that is large-scale project that needs efficiency, brings the differentiation skills, we use that to deliver the proposal and win the deal. And that's what we did successfully this year with Mafre. one of the largest insurance companies in the world, that we started that participate on a strategic process with them, RFP, and we won because we were able to articulate our delivery capability from Colombia, from Sophos Solutions, the acquisitions that we did from Colombia, and it was a requirement on the RFP, and we were able to deliver that, combine it with Brazil and other centers of excellence, and we were able to win a strategic project at MAFRE this year. Fantastic. Result of this strategic initiative. Other result of strategic initiative, we also won this year a strategic project in robotics here in Germany. And it was a project that required a large-scale team of data, AI, and cloud. Impossible to do that with the 1 or 2 centers. We had to bring all this platform together, Poland, Spain, Brazil, and India, to put a proposal to bring such a large-scale deal, and we won it, and you deliver that. We have the same, on the same message, India. We started up India for, I'd say, I cannot say the name, but I'm going to tell you, one of the top 2 largest retail banks in the United States of America, top 2, one of them. We were able to stay on the game, on the core banking implementation that they are doing. And it's their requirements. You need to have a footprint in India, a delivery center in India. And because we had India, we were able to be part of the game, participate, and we won. And now we are growing on that client with a next generation core banking project. Without India, last year, 1 year ago, 0, not possible to compete, 0. Reality, our 5-year strategy. And I tell you more. 2 weeks ago, we signed a new master agreement, service agreement, MSA, with one of our top 4 clients in the world, GFT, with India rate cards. So we've been operating with this client for several years, and we have been, this client look at the GFT as the European shop, an European partner. We unlocked India now. We unlocked a new world of possibilities because there are a new set of programs and services that are done with an India platform. And now, when we 2 weeks ago, we signed the master agreement for the first time, becoming a European regional company, service provider to a global one. And no need to mention about our AI strategy, 12,000 engineers, 1,200-ish are already working with Winx in projects. Most of the team, 96% trained with AI tools, and so on and so forth. A second strategic initiative from our 5-year plan is to first move everything that I do, this is soft application development, software engineering, to software engineering with AI, the AI-centric thing, number 1. And we also have some other, core elements of our high value-added service offering that we are putting focus. One of them is the next generation core banking, which it stands out for us. We are the number 1 in the world, delivering Thought Machine projects, delivering 10x, delivering Mambo, delivering Oracle FlexCube, and now a new partner, which is Visa Pismo, that I'm gonna mention a little later. So that's next generation core banking, and GFT number 1 in the world, very well positioned and moving forward. Also on the front of the ISVs, like Salesforce, like Guidewire, that we're going to talk later on with a client, Beniva, and SAP, a new element of ISV specialization that we brought on our system, on our ecosystem. And by the way, we already sold, and we announced that last week on our Q3 announcement, already a new project with SAP in one of our clients. Hyperscalers, AWS, Azure, Google, clouds, and our products. Smaragd, Ingenium, and Winx. And I'm going to put highlights on AI data and intelligence and artificial intelligence modernization in a sec. Just to complete, we have our products. Smaragd is our anti-money laundering compliance solutions, and I'm going to announce that now. We are going to have Deutsche Bank here formally come into picture and talk about their decision to move with Smaragd at Deutsche Bank Germany. This was a competition that we participated, and we won that. And Deutsche Bank is going to come and talk in a few minutes about it. This is very good. Last week on the Q3 announcement, I did not mention the name of the clients because we still do not have the approval, but now we have the approval to do that. This is fantastic news for our software solutions practice unit. Sorry. We also have Ingenium, and that we also communicated last week that we announced that we closed a 3-year deal with Audi, Volkswagen Germany, and Winx. That is a chapter that I'm going to talk soon. And among all those partners, 2 new ones, which is Visa, Pismo, with the most advanced core payment systems that are coming to play. GFT is already doing some projects with them, and we are creating a global partnership with Visa Pismo, and also with FICO, that we're going to have Alex Graffi soon talking about FICO and why FICO chose GFT as a strategic partner. So for us, I could not be more proud to have FICO, the largest rating scoring consumer company in the United States of America and USA, and one of the largest anti-money, anti-fraud company in the world, the whole world, that are choosing GFT to be a strategic partner. Moving from the strategic initiative of focus on high value added service and offerings, let's talk about our global accounts. The strategic initiative that is focus on what is going to move the needle. Tier 1, Tier 2 clients. Global accounts. We have a strategic initiative that is moving all GFT. Because that's our current footprint. That's our current, I would say, wallet share of clients. We have 4 clients today, more than 25 million. 20 clients, more than 10 million. And then I have almost 40 here, Tier 3 clients. More than 500 clients, Tier 4, that generates less than 2.5 million. And I tell you that in several areas, in several units and markets, we are putting more effort here than I'm putting on here. So moving the company, moving GFT to focus on what matters. Let's focus on Tier 1 and Tier 2 accounts. Let's focus on those guys here, in order to bring my offering, industrialize my offerings, my capabilities, my differentiations, to move those guys, have more Tier 1, have more Tier 2, move Tier 3 to Tier 2, and be smart to focus on the Tier 4s that can become a Tier 1, but the laggers, those clients that are requiring more energy than other accounts with low profitability, this is definitely, there is no space with GFT, right? We are going to simply put the right focus. And so this is simply a glimpse about some of our clients. And you see the clients that we have: HSBC, Citi, Deutsche Bank, Itaú, the largest bank in Brazil, Latin America, BBVA. We are one of the key partner on modernization of BBVA, one of the benchmarks of technology in Europe. We need to grow here, and many others, right? You see, and many others that you cannot mention. This one of the top 2 largest retail banks in the United States of America, and many others here. That's our non-open logos for us yet. And what you want to do? I want to focus prioritization, industrialize the process of taking my offerings, my differentiations, my capabilities, and bring to them to grow them. Bring also my capability, my strategic initiative of Smart Shore and my offering of India, bring to them and then create a spinning wheel, right? A virtual cycle, engineer growth, accelerate growth into my business. And naturally, not only bringing growth to the current tier 1, tier 2 clients that I have, take the tier 3 to become tier 2, bringing all the capabilities, differentiations that I have into the clients that I have, industrialize this process, and obviously engineer profitability. Because on that process, I'm going to engineer in profitability. Because I want to get rid of a tier 4 clients that are clients that cannot take us to more than 1 million, never. And we have low profitability, or we have not a nice profitability. So we need to put the right energy on the right things, on the things that are going to scale. And I do believe that this combination of strategic initiatives creates and can create and will create a large-scale growth. You know, you just look, if we bring and we make one new tier 1 clients per year over the next 4 years, you can get 8 clients. You can double it. And so on and so forth, right? So we can really, so that's our goal, to have those obviously those percentages are approximately percentages, but our expectation is to have more of the company, around 70%-ish on the tier 1 and tier 2 clients on the long run, and have less energy, less dissipation of energy and heat here, right, on tier 4. Be smart here, right? So that's what we are now industrializing, pushing forward, and that's a combination of strategic initiatives. Now let's getting back to the high value-added service offerings and differentiation. I touched a little bit on the next generation core banking, on the ISVs, hyperscalers in our products. Let's talk about artificial intelligence modernization. This is immense. This is huge. Artificial intelligence modernization. AI is steering down the barriers of changing legacy systems across the board. These unlocking opportunities that were not there before. There were no opportunities before to change legacy. For some legacy, core banks, the barriers of change were super high. They were there for 25, 30, 35 years. To change that, endless programs, risky, enormous cost. Now with AI, we are making modernization projects feasible, affordable, less risky, impactful and transformative. 62% of the US companies, they rely on legacy modernizations. 75% of the banks on a global level run on legacy. And they are failing to deliver what they need in order to deliver their goals. HSBC estimates 5,000 applications need to go to modernize. 86% of the bank executives say modernization is critical. This is huge. And we are the best company positioned to do the artificial intelligence modernization, this artificial intelligence accelerated journey, artificial intelligence accelerated modernization. We have a complete set of offering capability unity with since the strategy to the top-down approach, bottom-up, and important to highlight, Winx with an agent, a functionality that is our legacy transformer that is moving forward in the market, bringing 40% of efficiency at minimum. With the example, one simple example that I mentioned before. Artificial intelligence modernization, we need to deploy AI. We have our technology, our differentiation. Winx, important to highlight, we're going to talk more about Winx. Clients improving this year from 25 to 58. We expanded from 1 country to 8. Bradesco Insurance, we're going to talk here, 40% improvement in terms of productivity with a large-scale team. It's not a toy POC. It's a real 180 team working, large-scale, delivering development and modernization. And question, does or did Bradesco Insurance ask GFT to reduce the team in 40%? No. We are growing the team now. I have more than 200 because I'm capital is smart. Capital flows to where return is higher. Capital flows it. So if I deliver with more productivity, I am going to get projects from the competition. That's what's the effect that's happening at Bradesco Insurance, and you can have the clients talk in a little while to all of you. And staggering figures, right, in terms of documentation, of code fixing, and etc. Could not be more proud of the Winx team, what we have done with the creation of that technology, what we are doing on a global level. So I could not be more proud of that position. Finally, AI and data. AI, data, and intelligence. That's a major practice that we have. We have 224 clients, more than 1,000 projects that we have already delivered, more than 2,200 AI data specialists, 6 global centers of excellence, and leader at Gartner 2025. We have a complete unit with enablers, offerings, cases, accelerators, services, differentiators, including the ADA marketplace. Inaz is going to talk later on. And naturally, what are some logical steps for GFT with this? Some logical new industries where our experience, capabilities, offerings, differentiation, and even our roots as a German company is in high demand today. So we got it. Robotics. GFT has been selected as a strategic partner for Neurorobotics to develop their software platform powering the next generation of physical AI for Neuro. Public reference. We did that large-scale team for GFT and Neuro. And that's the quote of David Hager, the founder and CEO at Neurorobotics. With GFT, we have found a strategic partner that shares our vision of bringing cognitive robots into a real-world application with a deep knowledge in AI software engineering. That's our differentiation. And complex and highly regulated industries. And we made it. And obviously, again, that capability that we have, it's in high demand. Warfare is moving from hardware to data to software. So since 1987, we've been delivering complex projects, mission-critical projects, high volumetrics, security-sensitive, and for highly regulated industries. That's GFT. Since more than 30 years. And we've been pulling into several discussions right now with defense companies to help them to discuss about how to modernize. We need to modernize. We all need to modernize. And we need to help us to accelerate the digital transformation with AI, data, software. And GFT plays as clearly as a German champion for that, a German champion in AI data and in modernization. This is in digital transformation. This is something that it's coming. We are discussing now major projects in defense in Poland. It's a pitch. I'm discussing right now 350 deal size, 350 FTE size in a defense company in Germany right now. It means that I'm going to win that? No. It means that we're going to win 100%? No. But this is wonderful to have that opportunity. This is wonderful because we have a strong capability, a global capability, international data, AI, cloud, and this is in high demand for Europe and for especially Germany and all Europe, right? And I think that we come into play with a good credentials on that. So, Johan, I would like to invite you on stage. Otherwise, I keep talking the whole afternoon.
Thank you, Marco. Warm welcome from my side, everybody in the room, all virtual participants. I will talk about two more work streams of our 5-year strategy. I will talk about the Gravity program and our M&A strategy. Takes about 10 minutes. Gravity program is a self-chosen title. What does it mean? That's the headline. Focus on simplifying and optimizing countries, offices, and shared services inside the GFT group. We have some KPIs here. They're going to repeat on the next slide. Let me highlight them there. And let's look at what we have done in the year 25-26. I'm looking at the bullet points on the left side right now. So we are doing one thing in all countries, which is we are reviewing the clients, especially the subscale revenue and margin clients, and their contribution. Do we want to work with them in future? That's the tier 4s Marco was already mentioning. We're looking for major accounts, and we have to be critical on all the tier 4 clients, which are the very, very small clients. Second bullet point, review subscale countries. We're currently in our budgeting process for the next year. We're going to have our reviews end of this week. And then we're going to discuss also our small countries, the subscale countries, the countries which are not generating economies of scale as of now. But we need economies of scale across the GFT group in future. Third bullet point, optimize G&A cost. Cost base and location. Well, of course, we do what everybody does. We simplify, we optimize, and if it can't be simplified or optimized, we move it to cost-optimized locations. And the fourth point, reduce office space with low utilization. GFT is following a very strong work from anywhere, work from home approach. Well, you see this office, it's pretty full when you walk the aisles right now. This is where projects are happening, where senior sales is happening. But a lot of the coding our people are doing must not be done in a GFT office. Therefore, office space we're critical about and we reduce where we can. And now, what are the proof points of the year 25-26? And you see that on the right side. The UK, we had to reduce by 50% in workforce in 2025. Well, that's nothing to really be proud about because we were not able to staff our people in projects locally anymore. After COVID, there was a high demand for local resources and the demand diminished again when the workbench from Eastern Europe and India was working well again. Demand reduced for local resources and we had to right-size our UK organization. This year, 50% down. Productive people, but also in the back office teams, we had to right-size the team. I'll come back to UK on the next slide. Software solutions, our second turnaround topic of the year 2025. We went into the year with a too strong workforce. We brought on board a strong manager. Floris is here with us today. We reduced the workforce by 15%, and now it better fits the revenue structure of the business. So we're set to go into 2026 on a better cost base. We will still invest in that business, but the cost base is now far improved. Third bullet point, we have reduced our global G&A workforce by 6% in 2025. Something that is still ongoing today. So this is work in progress, but it's our target to get the right size and people we can't simplify or automate, we have to move to low-cost locations. That's happening right now. Strict cost control, the fourth bullet point, I will not go deep, but office space we reduced in Germany, Italy, Poland, Brazil over the last 12 months by 7,500 square meters. This office here is roughly 1/4 of the size of the former office, which was around the corner. Well, we didn't manage it down. In this case, we had to wait. Sometimes you have to wait. It was a long lease contract, but we had taken the office on board before COVID, and we learned we need less space. So we have reduced globally office space by 7,500 square meters. Now, at the bottom, the 5-year strategy about this, the mentioned cost effects on the right side, they will all materialize next year. This year, many of them have been more a cost than a benefit. The benefits will come in years after, and until 29, we believe we can improve our EBIT adjusted with Gravity program work by at least 1 percentage point. And let me highlight again the UK story. In the UK, the Gravity approaches, we leverage what works best. And I'm again on the left side of the slide. We are replicating in the UK our blueprint from the GFT US. And the smaller bullet points say it. We have a very efficient local team in the US today. It's roughly 40 productive people, plus sales, plus administration in the US. And they are mostly managing the 95% offshore delivery that we have. This generates a mid-teen margin today, which is comparable to what peers generate. Simply, our US business is only 9% of total GFT. This blueprint we're bringing to the UK right now. We're revising the go-to-market strategy, the leadership, and the organization. We're implementing a new country manager. He will be on board somewhere in the first quarter, and the new governance for sales, operations, and delivery are underway. So outlook for next year, this year 25, but also 26 are transition years. 26, we will already see the margin improvement. So we should see a black break even for the UK, and we will return to revenue growth in 27. I promised my team I will only bring one financial slide today, right? Only one. Because this is all about the business side of GFT. This is the financial slide, and I'm trying to highlight the isolated GFT group performance of the non-turnaround countries, which is by far the majority of the GFT group. First, the two turnarounds, GFT UK and Software Solutions, including the numbers and the decline on revenue and profitability basis. We have a third enemy this year, which is FX. The euro is so strong that we have a lot of headwinds, especially on the revenue side. It's also burdening the profit. But if you take out these three effects, GFT in constant currency is growing by 11% this year. This is happening on the back of a very strong Latin American market, of a strong North American market, and a somewhat weaker and not growing European market. It's already the blended growth rate of these three markets, but excluding UK and Software Solutions. 11% growth, and we are at a 9% EBIT adjusted margin. So this is where we can take this. Turnaround programs happening under management will take 1 or 2 years to get closer to the group numbers in those turnaround markets, but we are on track for that. Now, M&A strategy. Come on in. Take a seat, please. M&A strategy we have also refined with the 5-year strategy, and again, the headline is highlighting it. We focus on bolt-on acquisitions of high-valued added services company in existing GFT markets. On the bottom, you do see the history of our M&As. We've done 13 M&As over the last 14 years, so we are quite experienced. We've done them in Europe, North America, South America. But now the strategic focus is a bit changed. It's on the top right. Country-wise, we stay in our existing markets. We don't go for M&A outside of GFT existing markets. Gravity program, focus on markets, maybe even reduce the markets, and we focus M&A on the existing markets. Second, technology, unlock new ISV solutions and business to strengthen the core. Marco was talking about ISV a lot. M&A strategy has to follow that. I'll get to the example on the following page. And clients, of course, we want access to future tier 1 and to tier 2 clients via M&A. Current priority list on the right side, on the top, it is North America. Again, as I said, we have good margins in the US, but it's only 9% of the GFT business. It should be 30% of our business if it would be like the market share that the markets globally have from the US. North America, high focus for clients, more clients access. We all know Americas is not cheap, so that's a challenge. The second, Latin America, here our strategic approach is to buy ISV companies and by that also get their clients. And number three, a bit more opportunistic in Europe, also looking for ISV clients, so software implementation, product companies with their client base. That's the fundamental M&A strategy. And now the one example that we implemented in the year 2025 is the company Megawork in Brazil, an implementation partner for SAP software products. Megawork, now more on the left side, is a 16 million a year company right now. We are consolidating since September. That's why we only will show 5 million of revenue this year from Megawork. They do a 20% EBIT adjusted margin. So ISV business is highly attractive margin-wise. And it's roughly a 300 people team. And how does it fit into the strategy? We focus on existing GFT countries. Well, the M&A target is in Brazil. So obviously we're following the strategy. We will later roll it out into other existing GFT Latin American markets, potentially Colombia, Mexico, and maybe even beyond into Europe, but currently focuses on Brazil. The second M&A strategy, expanding client base, cross-selling potential. Well, in this case, we have acquired a company that has a diversified client structure in health, pharma, public sector, utilities, manufacturing, and we want to cross-sell GFT services into them. But also the other way around. We want to cross-sell the SAP expertise into GFT client base. And this has already succeeded in one case after roughly 4 weeks after buying. That's, I think, a record for GFT. Number three, focus on high-value adding services. While it is an SAP product implementation business, we're showing the margin over here, so that fits. And last but not least, the GFT AI portfolio that Marco talked about a lot should support the M&As. While in case of SAP, we still have a bit of work in front of ourselves, but we want our Wings suite to also support SAP services in future, something to work on for the next years. So implementation of the M&A strategy at work. That said, Marco, conclusion is for you.
Thank you, Johan.
I clicked. One backwards.
So conclusion, to go direct to the points, we are executing our 5-year strategy with a mission focus and to be the artificial intelligence digital transformation challenger as I presented, as I mentioned to you. We are engineering growth and profitability while also focus on initiatives such as the acquisition of high value added service companies in current markets that we have. There is a clear path for large-scale growth opportunities in several fields, as I mentioned to all of you, the artificial intelligence modernization, the AI data and intelligence, the robotics, the defense, our core banking part, and ISVs and clouds, but especially on the artificial intelligence modernization with an immense, huge opportunity in terms of legacy architectures modernization. And the path ahead is bold, is ambitious, and full of opportunities. GFT is ready for this, to lead on the AI-centric digital transformation. Right? So that's what we are positioning for. I think that we've been moving strongly, as I presented before, and I would like to thank you for the time and open for some questions. I don't know how we are with time, but go ahead, Andreas.
Okay. Lost that one. Well, thank you very much for your update and almost staying in time. Almost. I think before we proceed with our tech expertise, I would allow one question to keep the dialogue a little bit flowing, but then maybe move the other questions to the coffee break. So if there is a question in the room, we have one, maybe two.
Yes, one question to the recent acquisition and the SAP topic you mentioned. Is there any risk that you get in conflict with SAP's own AI strategy?
On the contrary, one of the reasons of the acquisition is that SAP has a strong agentic AI and AI strategy for their products, and we do not want to do the traditional, the vanilla SAP. We want to definitely be the leading on this AI-centric transformation of SAP with the agentic platform that they are doing, number one. And number two, to also use AI to accelerate the migrations from the ECC to SAP for HANA. So that's for us. We believe that is a strong opportunity, and we already started cross-selling, right? As
Are you talking to SAP on that topic?
Yeah, absolutely. I met in the event of Sam Altman. I met one of the board members of SAP here in Germany, global level. And we are talking in many countries, not only in Brazil, but in Spain. The global head of partnership, which sits in Spain globally for SAP. So we've been, it's a active discussing with them. Very happy with SAP. And by the way, for me, this is gold. We simply brought SAP on an ISV, it's a global SCV, brought into our ecosystem. And then we created a cross-selling immediately. In less than 1 month, we already sold SAP into one of our clients that we have. Right? So for me, our expectation is to do more than the business case that we bought, right, that put on top.
Thank you. We have another question in the second row, Knut Hinkel.
Yeah, I've got one question with regard to the focus on the tier 1 clients. I remember that you pursued very successfully, it seemed, this land and expand strategy. So the question for me would be, is that now dead? Have you changed the strategy with regard to that, or how should we think about that?
Yeah, I think. May I? If you want to take it. I believe that the land and expand strategy was a strategy that took GFT from 100 million-ish, right, and several years ago, to the size that we are today, right, 885. Right, that's our guidance for this year, euros. And I think that was a quite it's a important and relevant strategy for us. But what's the situation now? The situation now is that I have a quite interesting and strategic clients list of a tier 1 and tier 2 clients, as you saw. I also have lots of more than 500 clients on tier 4. And now I need to rebalance the focus of the company, because I'm clearly investing the same time and effort of our sales team, marketing, pre-sales, technologies, architects, into these long tail tier 4 clients. I'm investing the same amount of effort in clients that you look at the clients and say, wow, these clients will never give me more than 1 million euros, never, because there is no size for that. And by the way, my margin is not that good. So it's no brainer. Let's invest the time on the ones that matter, that can move the needle, tier 1 and tier 2 clients. And obviously, let's be smart to keep doing the land and expansion, but smartly land in a specific clients that can be a tier 1. And then have a right plan and measure that every quarter, every 6 months, every year, and see the plan evolution to take it from tier 4 to tier 3 to tier 2 to tier 1. So that's the mission. But focus on what matters, because if I double my tier 1 and tier 2, I can double the company. And they have scalable, right, and capabilities. Obviously, it's not simple, it's not trivial. On that journey, we're going to lose some, we need to win others, but that's our mission. Eh?
Perfect, thank you. I think there will be more questions in the coffee break, and we will have also the opportunity to talk about other questions later on. So thank you very much for that update on our 5-year strategy, and
thank you.
Showing us how our 5-year strategy is taking shape and for demonstrating how AI is breaking down the barriers of change in legacy systems and unlocking new major opportunities. And we exactly take it from here, where we now move from strategy to execution, to the technology that is already transforming client projects. Today, please welcome Ignacy Villadell and later on Dean Clark, who will take us deeper into the world of agentic AI modernization with Wings. Ignacy, it's your stage.
Thank you, Andreas. The first statement that I want to say is that GFT was founded in the 87, right? And more than 10 years we started doing AI projects. So we haven't jumped into the AI wagon last year. So we have more than 10 years working around data and AI projects. One thing that I want to share with you is a set of examples, some of them being spoiled by Marco at the beginning. So I'm going to try to speed up a little bit that part. But I want to share with you that whenever a company is adopting AI, the impact of that adoption, it is different. We've seen different flavors and colors. And the reason being is because this impact, it is not uniform. That is the reason why at GFT we have a very, I would say, concrete offer when we are going into the market to help our customers to do this AI adoption in a very measurable and impactful manner. How are we starting this type of project? The first thing that we need to understand and that we love to demonstrate the value with measurable impact. It comes for individual productivity, right there. This is automating individual tasks that you have to do in your daily routine. And as we do that, and we are accumulating experience, then we are ready to jump into the next step, which is precisely improving the process-based productivity, which is automating entire workflows across different business units. The importance of having this stage, let's say, approach is because companies require time to get confidence on what is the possibility of AI, to also change and adapt the cultural impact that represents the AI adoption, and at the same time to start realizing that this exponential ROI that AI will bring as long as they move into an AI-centric enterprise, it requires this step-by-step approach. So this is what we are currently doing, but of course at GFT we are determined to go to the next growth phase, which is this AI-centric enterprise. Every lessons learned, every project, every success that we do, we make sure that we capitalize those and we make it tangible in our set of products, Ingenium, Wings, and Smaragd, to continuously helping our customers. If we have to think about AI adoption, the most, I would say, immediate area where we should adapt AI is a very, I would say, mature arena. It is precisely the software development. Right? This is the area where AI has been largely adopted over the past years. Quoting Gartner, by 2028, 90% of AI software engineers will be using AI. That is a tremendous jump from 2024. Sorry, here you go. Only 14%. That is a massive jump of AI adoption in that field. And GFT, we are not just, let's say, watching what's going on, but on the contrary, we are actionating this trend by helping our customers with Wings to generate better documentation, to generate better code, to generate better tests, and also helping them to maintain their systems. This is clearly a trend that GFT is capitalizing and that we are helping our customers across the board. Now, as I know that you would like to see some examples, I'm going to be covering some of them. The first one is in Mexico. It's a tier 1 multinational bank that you see more or less here. The rationale of these cards is we see in blue, let's say, the motto of the project. In that case, it's testing automation at scale. And then we have the pre-AI baseline, so the customer not using GFT services, not using Wings, which is our AI-based product to accelerate SDLC. And then on the right-hand side, we have the results after adopting Wings, after engaging with GFT. And here what we can see is that we have decreased the amount of time required to do test execution from 5 days to 2 hours. This is a 98% reduction in the times. Similarly, if we look at the human-based intervention, we see that we decreased from the 75% human intervention in the test execution to only 5% of manual execution. Going to another customer, we're still in LATAM, one of the largest customers and banks that are operating in Colombia. We are seeing more or less the same behavior, right? But in that case, not only in testing, but also in different steps of the software development lifecycle. Generating code, we reduced 72% of the time required to do so. Identifying code vulnerabilities, we reduced 88% of the time required to do this check and to fix them, which is the next step. And the same for code review, generating user stories, etc., etc., etc. This is changing completely the landscape for our customers whenever they have to produce code at scale. And the last example for in this slide is in North America, another tier 1 institution. And again, we have a baseline of lack of documentation, very slow process to have coverage on the code, testing, etc., etc. And using Wings, we are able to improve dramatically the entire situation. So in a nutshell, in just these 3 examples, we are seeing how Wings and how GFT is improving significantly the times, the quality, and the coverage that we are providing to our customers, between 70 and 95%. But the most important thing that we need to highlight as well, that's a message that I want to share with you, is that the more that the customers are engaging with GFT, the more that Wings is used, the better results that we are obtaining, the better efficiencies that we are generating. And if you don't trust me, because we never met, right? Later on in the process, Bradesco Seguros themselves, they're going to be sharing that story with us. I'm going to spoil myself a little bit, but the story is in early 2024, the customer launched the challenge to all their IT providers saying, guys, we need you to deliver more business value with the same budget. And the result of that challenge, the GFT was the winner party, achieving the result of 40% efficiency and productivity and 80% of faster code correction. Again, later we're honored to have Bradesco Seguros themselves, one of the largest Latin American insurance companies, to share with us this project and this initiative. So, as I said, we started in the software development lifecycle. But if we have to think about what's the next step, immediately we think about business processes. And this is precisely what we've done. So back office processes, middle office processes, front office processes. This is where AI could help all these financial institutions and industrial companies, insurance companies, etc., to automate many of their functions. Some examples could be document management, where we can apply AI, and actually we've done it, credit risk assessment, customer service, etc., etc., etc. I know that you like to see some examples, so let's go for it. The first one, let's think about a mainframe system. This is a very critical infrastructure. And every single minute of downtime, it is actually affecting that the customer is not able to transact, right? It's not able to buy, it's not able to pay, you name it. So definitely reducing the times required to fix incidents, it's critical. It's key. And this is what we've done at GFT. We take an existing service, we download all the data from the customer, of course, with their permission, how these tickets, how this incident has been solved over time, and we generated this engine being able to help the operator that whenever a new ticket, a new incident is coming to the system, he or she can expedite the resolution of such kind of an incident. And after just 3 months that we put this system in production, we reduced the average ticket resolution time by 30%. And this is precisely what you can see here, the SLA times going down and down and down and down. And I know that you like also to see some proof, graphical proof of that. Because another thing that we do at GFT is not only training and putting together all these AI engines, but also bridging the gap between the technology and those people that are not technology, but they need to use that technology. And here you have some screenshots of this solution that is already in production, bringing that value for different customers across GFT. This is not just operational efficiency. This is strategic leverage. Because of that, now whenever we are pricing a new application maintenance for our customers, we can be more competitive. And those existing engagements where we are doing maintenance, we can also open the door for potential margin improvements. So this is what AI is unleashing for us. Time is very sensitive, and I know that I'm actually running out of time already, perhaps. But it is even more important when you are submitting and creating credit risk analysis. A credit risk analyst, whenever they have to create this report, what they have to do is all the tasks that you see here and beyond that. But this is just, let's say, a summary of some of the tasks that they have to do. And as you can see, they have to download documentation, they have to gather information, they have to fill out some sections, they have to answer some qualitative and quantitative KPIs, etc., etc., etc. Together with Oliver Wyman, we create a pilot with one of our customers where what we said and what we did is creating an agentic approach that some of these steps could be enhanced with the use of AI and therefore reducing the time required to do this task. On average, we said that we can save between 30 and 40% the times required by the analysts in conducting these credit risk reports. And for that particular customer that you see here, some key figures, how many analysts, how many customers, how many new customers, etc., because that, of course, influences the business case. It means that in a single year, they can save between 4 and 5 million euros. That is in a scenario where the customer is not growing. If the customer is willing to grow, which of course they want, that savings go much beyond that number. And since I know that you like an image better than me talking, this is actually the solution that we have implemented, that we are pitching, and that we are using as an accelerator to help our customer to achieve these goals. So this is not only about being able to deploy AI, but doing it at scale for enterprises. Last but not least, we talk about SDLC, right? AI for SDLC, software development lifecycle. We talk about the incursion of AI into business processes, back office, middle office, front office. But we are not going to be stopping here. For us, the next frontier, the next jump, as Marco has said also at the beginning, is the capacity to go towards this new arena, which is a tremendous volumes of opportunities for GFT, which is the large-scale modernization. We've seen over the last, 10, 20 years, many of these initiatives repeatedly stalled, not because of lack of vision, but because of the prohibitive cost of delivering such kind of a project, very long projects, a lot of risk, etc., etc. I'm talking about projects such as mainframe modernization, re-engineering of machine control systems, you name it. Nowadays, GFT, with the use of Wings, we transform these forbidden type of projects into something that we are actioning, we are delivering. And again, following the same structure that I've been following across the presentation, some examples. The first one, Tier 1 multinational bank in Spain, mainframe, core banking, more than 40 years of a legacy system. And the important thing, I know it's a little bit tiny here, but more than 428 million lines of code, more than 347,000 programs, more than 4,000 functional groups. All this entangled all together. Now imagine that you're an engineer and you have to surf in to understand all this complexity and to determine what is the best strategy to migrate this into a new banking architecture. And I'm going to tell you, you cannot use AI at all. Not possible. right? Unless you have a very deep pocket and a lot of patience, because that will take ages. GFT, with the use of wings, we are transforming this opportunity into a reality. And not only for one country, but as you can see here, we're doing this for 2 countries at the same time. This example was already shared by Marco. Tier 1 multinational car automaker, happens to be German, but in that case operating in Brazil. Similar complexity, right? We're talking about core banking, 2,000 programs, more than 200 databases, more than 3 million lines of code. And again, you have to understand everything with no documentation whatsoever to then establish what is the migration strategy, the modernization strategy. Marco said before some numbers, right? You will see a variance of the weeks, and the reason here is because we needed for them to deploy the LLM. This is the more technical aspect of it. But even though this is a 69-time reduction of the original project without using GFT and AI, for less than a 10% of the cost. And you may say, yeah, Ignacy, but before you were getting that and now you're getting this. Don't get confused. Before we will never get that. That was prohibited. That was not even a possibility for the customer. They didn't start this type of project. Now they do. And they are doing it with GFT. And last but not least, I'm not bringing KPIs because we have started quite recently. But if you think about industry, think about a German champion in the machinery space. And imagine the amount of lines of legacy code that is running inside these machines. And now, I don't know if any of you have quite recently went to China, but the competition being created there around machinery, robotics is fierce. So definitely, they have now motivation to accelerate the innovation, to shorten the time to market. And to do so, they have to create new type of software to be run embedded into these machinery systems. This project, this challenge, even though it's not a core banking system, is very similar to this. Legacy systems, very entangled. You need to understand the business logic behind. You need to determine the migration strategy. And you need to do that in a cost-efficient manner. And this is precisely what we are doing. And this is precisely what we are going to deliver out of this immediate project to then help them to achieve these objectives over there. Now, everything that I've said share the same common goal, right? Which is helping our customers to run this enterprise AI adoption while we can measure the value that we are bringing to them, which for sure I've been sharing with you. But we are not stopping here. For us, as we said at the beginning, agentic is the next frontier. And for us, as part of our strategy, is that AI, it is not something that we see as our customers shoot it up, but something that internally we are adopting. What you see here on the left-hand side is our agentic marketplace. So every single process that we have inside GFT at the moment is being analyzed to see what can we do to improve the process and to bring agents to help us to be more efficient internally. And that is something, let me see if that works now. Yeah, there we go. And that is something that we are creating internally to help our employees to get access to those agents, to find a way that we can build agents in a standard manner, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But this is not everything. On the right-hand side, you have our agentic governance framework, which we have created to ensure that internally and to our customers, whenever we are creating an AI system, whether it's an agent or not, and in that case it is, these agents are aligned to the business goals, so we want to generate return on the investment. Second, we want to do it in an ethical and responsible manner. We want to make sure that it's compliant. We want to make sure that it's secure. And of course, we are building all the technical underlying architecture to make that a reality. I know that you're thrilled to know a little bit more about what behind the scenes in terms of the technical ins and outs. And for that reason, I will welcome my colleague Dean Clark on stage to tell us about it.
Hi, everyone. So, welcome to this presentation. So the idea that I'm going to talk about now really focuses on a few of the key messages that Marco was pitching to you in the beginning introduction. So firstly, before I move forward into what GFT are doing in terms of its future roadmap and where we're moving Winx, where we're moving our
AI adoption, what I want to do a little bit is just rewind for a second. Just understand where the market is, what we're seeing in the market, and how we're going to react to that. So right now, today, you can already see a number of organizations are adopting AI. It's now part of business as usual. Everyone is trying to embed it in their processes. We've seen a large number of use cases where it's being embedded in coding assistants, like GitHub Copilot, for example. We want to make sure that we are not competing with those, but we are contributing additional savings. And what you've already seen from some of the existing case studies and success stories with our clients is that we are achieving those things alongside the other coding assistants. And that's a key part that I want to talk about at length later. But in order to try and progress a little bit, right now, we need to focus on how AI is already transforming both the world and how it's transforming the possibilities that large organizers and enterprises have in terms of modernizing their estates, moving forward with their productivity, bringing AI into their products, into their services, into the offerings for their clients. And the way that people are already doing that is that they are already seeing AI doing what is traditionally seen as automation, really, of the low-hanging fruit. So the manual, repetitive tasks, the research, the data processing. These are activities that everybody has already been looking at using AI for years. Generative AI, of course, is making that a lot more easy. Generative AI, of course, focuses on that content creation, the content summarization. Now, in addition to that, we've also got use cases where people are starting to enhance their products, where they're able to personalize customer journeys. They're able to personalize or hyper-personalize user interfaces, customer journeys, be able to target specific products and processes around people's thoughts, wishes, demands. And finally, the third point around how AI is already embedded in our world today is purely and simply amplifying human potential. And really, for me, this is the fundamental concept of why AI is really being adopted wide scale by some of these larger enterprises. And this isn't about how tools are there to replace humans. This is about how tools are there to amplify their potential. It's about lifting that up to the next level so that we can do more with less, or ideally more with the same. Now, if it will change, there we go. So in the market today, we've already seen that we are moving on as GFT. Marco mentioned already that we have our legacy modernizer agent. That is GFT's first agent built within Winx. Winx as a platform is an exceptionally mature product already that sits alongside the software development lifecycle, pointing at successfully improving a number of the processes along that route. Now, in order for GFT to grow, we need to take into account all of the market trends. We need to make sure that we aren't following everybody else, but we are leading other people. We understand that today's ecosystem, we have a number of our clients already looking at and indeed implementing agents. But there is a challenge today. Marco mentioned at the beginning, there is a lot of noise around AI. How do we rise above that noise? How do we create that level of impact? Gartner coined about a year or so ago the term agent washing. This is something where existing large organizations created their new branding around their existing platform. They didn't take into account the true agentic need. It needs to be autonomous. It needs to make decisions, and it needs to execute something. So what we have seen in the industry are a lot of applications, a lot of software products be labeled as agentic when they aren't. They just purely use AI. Now, one of the things that we are doing, and you've just seen it from our agentic architecture that Ignacy has displayed on the screen, or at least the governance model anyway, we are ensuring that every product that we build that is labeled agentic will be truly agentic. It will make decisions. It will be autonomous. And we've created a governance framework, we've created a model, we've created architectures and blueprints that not only are we using internally on Winx, but we're also starting to embed on our client projects. Now, one of the interesting aspects of this is how can you identify what is truly agentic? Without sifting through it, without using it yourself, it's very difficult to do that. What we want to do is build the trust in the level of execution that we perform with our clients, with the products that we build, so GFT's name is synonymous with being that challenger in the industry all around AI and agentic AI. Now, in order to move forward, we can't just make our platform agentic. Okay? Other people are creating agentic platforms. Why does that make GFT special? It doesn't. We need to focus on moving that forward. We need to look at the evolution of those agentic platforms. To date, GFT has obviously focused its Winx product on the software development lifecycle. Now, Winx in itself, as you can see from the slide, has focused on design and planning, development, testing, validation, deployment operations, holistically. Okay? The features that we have sit within the software development lifecycle, then they are there to enhance what you can get by buying something like GitHub Copilot or Cursor or using Anthropic Claude AI. Now, those specific tools are aimed at code generation, code completion. They will create a README file. And I'm sure if you've done any reading on Winx or you've heard some of the presentations today, you understand that our product doesn't focus in those areas specifically. It can touch on that. It does some of the fringes. There are a number of articles that you can probably find on the internet right now by Gartner, by McKinsey, by Bain, and they all state the same thing. A developer spends approximately 20 to 30% of his time engaged in writing code. If you're looking at these coding assistants, which have come a very long way and are very useful, I use them myself, you are going to be focusing those savings on that 20 to 30% of your day. GFT's Winx product focuses on the holistic software development lifecycle. So we try to get as much of the savings as we can from that other 70 to 80%, which is a far greater share. For that reason alone, without adding in the additional savings from using one of these coding assistants, that's why you're seeing some of these larger numbers in terms of our savings compared to the numbers that you're seeing from those traditional coding assistants. Now, I mentioned that we need to move forward. I mentioned that we need to enhance our product beyond agentic. One of the ways that we're going to do that is that we are going to start to focus our product on becoming more of a general intelligence model. We are going to get our platform to think, how can I do this? What is my reaction to that? So the way that I, or hopefully many of you in the room, cognitively process things based on our surroundings, by our situations, by the things that we have at our disposal, like tools or a glass or a piece of paper, we are able to solve complex scenarios. We are able to understand the context of each of these things. We're going to create a central orchestration process within Winx as a platform. And that orchestration, you can think of it as a brain. It is there to understand its context. That context might be architecture, it might be code, it might be documentation, it could even be an organization's IT security policy. But we're going to be able to ingest all of these components into that central orchestrator or brain. It is going to then understand contextually the meaning behind all of these things. It is then going to create a plan. Okay, very important thing in agentic AI is to create that plan. The orchestrator is then going to be able to provide that sequence and that communication out to other agents or APIs or microservices to execute on that sequence, giving you an end-to-end transformative process. Now, both Marco and Ignacy have talked today about the importance of being able to transform organizations. This transformation is very expensive, it's very time-consuming, it's very complex. What we're doing here is we're going to provide a platform that is going to break down some of those barriers. It's going to reduce that time. It's going to simplify to the point where the risk of doing those migrations is reduced. Now, how are we going to do this is probably the question you're going to ask. What I've described right now is probably the holy grail of products, the holy grail of platforms. How do I minimize my cost? How do I make it go faster? How do I reduce the risk and complexity? So to date, I'm hoping that you've all heard of a large language model. The term's been thrown around a few times today. A large language model ultimately is therefore creation. Okay? I'm going to ask it to provide something. It will, based on its understanding or neural network within its large data set, it's going to provide some contextual output. A large action model goes beyond that. So whilst a large language model can create, for example, a plan, the construct that is now a large action model can actually take that plan and execute and communicate. So this is going to be one of the central components of our brain. Large action models are available today. You can find them in open source. So they are starting to become a little bit, I don't want to say widespread because that would be exaggerating slightly, but we are starting to see bleeding edge technologies that are starting to make use of this technology. GFT also want to be a bleeding edge organization taking advantage of this. This large action model adoption will essentially move the dial of where we are, where typically we would have to write a huge amount of code, a huge amount of logic, we'd have to build learning cycles, we'd have to build a memory. The large action model actually takes care of a huge amount of that. And we can leverage all of GFT's existing learnings, coupled with that simplified technology stack, enabling us to go to market quicker, more effectively, to a much better output for our customers. Now, what we've heard from Ignacy earlier today, and we've heard from Marco already, these legacy transformations are highly complex. We've heard that they can take several years, they can cost millions and millions of pounds. One of the larger cost components of these types of transformation projects is the validation. If I write a piece of code, someone's got to check it. If I release a piece of code, it needs a review. If I write a document, it needs a 4 eyes check. All of these stages across that process require somebody to put a second pair of eyes on it and effectively sign it off. Now, with agile release processes, we've obviously seen DevOps tool chains, we've seen better workflows that have enhanced this, but ultimately it still comes down to someone needing to check. One of the benefits of, again, the large action model and some of the technology understanding of our architecture around putting inspectors or auditors into the loop is our AI platform is going to validate at each stage a lot of that output. The winner of the race for transformation is going to be the organization that manages to build in as much of the solution validation to their product as possible. If we can reduce that amount of validation that typically can be 60-70% of a project's timeline and cost, this will be groundbreaking for our clients. This is where GFT can essentially pick up the baton as a leader in the field. So what we're hoping is that we can compress those 18 to 24-month projects by using our new platform to under 6 to 9 months. We've seen some of the savings that Marco's talked about. We've seen some of the savings that Ignacy has talked about. We are looking to go beyond that. Now, I've spoken a little bit about how we're going to evolve Winx as a platform. What I haven't said is what the future for that platform involves. Now, it's going to become an agentic platform. It's going to be able to communicate externally with other agents. So not only are we going to turn all of our features into separate agents, not only are we going to add them to our agentic marketplace, both our internal client-facing agents and our internal ones that are actually going to be added, all of these agents will essentially be able to be accessed by our central orchestration, or our brain. Yeah? The brain will also be able to use anybody else's agents. There was a great question around the SAP. Are we going to be aligned with SAP's AI strategy, or do we conflict with it? This is a great example of how we're going to work with it. Our brain will be able to reach out to SAP's agents. We will be able to embed those within our workflows. Our brain will understand the complexities of what the SAP agents are doing. We can teach it how to embed those in its sequencing to solve even more complex problems. So that's a great example, and thank you for that question, by the way. Teed that part up nicely. Now, the next stage of the vision is not just to use this as a platform or a suite of products. It's actually to start to become a de facto member of a human AI partnership. We are going to embed Winx not as a tool for engineers to use, but actually as a worker, as part of a holistic team unit. We're going to be able to offload a number of specific tasks. It will go and autonomously complete those end to end. That is the vision for Winx. Did I do it on time? Almost.
Well, thank you very much, Dean. Thank you very much, Ignacy, for that insight and fascinating look into enterprise software and where AI systems learn and adapt and collaborate intelligently and specifically. You have perfectly been in time. I think there are tons of questions in the audience. I suggest to have a coffee and address these questions directly to our speakers. And we will again meet in, well, roughly 20 minutes at 4 p.m. We continue with the next session. Thank you very much.
Is this off? No, it's not off.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. I hope you had enough time to grab a coffee and to interact with our tech experts and also have a chat with the management. We now shift to the real-world client perspective. What does AI-driven productivity look like inside a major financial institution? I'm very pleased to welcome Claudio Juanico from Bradesco Seguros, together with Ignazi, to share how AI is making a measurable impact on delivery and efficiency. Please, Ignazi, the stage is yours.
Again.
Once again.
Thank you, Andreas. I was a little bit jealous when Marco, used the video, and that's why, as an ice-breaking, I'm gonna also add this video to start with and presenting officially what is Wings, and then we will go into this conversation with Claudio. So please, whenever you can.
At GFT Technologies, we've spent decades delivering software that solves the most complex challenges for leading enterprises. Today, expectations are higher, timelines are shorter, and generative AI is transforming how software is built. That's why we created Winx, the industry's most flexible Gen AI platform for enterprise software delivery. Winx accelerates the 70% of work beyond coding, such as testing, documentation, and legacy modernization. So teams deliver faster with confidence, going far beyond what coding assistants can offer. It's built with governance and security by design and integrates seamlessly with your existing SDLC tools and infrastructure. Model agnostic and deployment flexible, Winx keeps you in control of models, data, and IP. In regulated industries like banking and insurance, customers report up to 40% productivity gains and 90% time savings on heavy lift tasks. With Winx, you simply deliver better software, faster. Winx, built by technologists, designed for impact.
All right, thank you. So as I said before, of course, we are 100% certain of what we are saying and what we are sharing with you in terms of KPIs, et cetera, et cetera. But I think that if we have the capability to bring a customer talking on our behalf around the experience that they have had with GFT using Winx, that's the best story that we can share. And for that very reason, I'm honored to welcome our guest, Glaucio. So Glaucio, welcome.
Thanks, Enazi. Thanks for having me here.
Now I see you, Glaucio. So Glaucio, before we jump into a set of questions, please, for the benefit of the audience, can you introduce yourself, your role inside Bradesco Seguros, and tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Yeah, sure. First of all, thank you, Enazi and GFT, for the opportunity to be here with you. I'm running the IT shop here in Bradesco Seguros, mainly the development team, so responsible to make sure that we have the most of our IT investment, the investment in technology that the company has. I can also introduce Bradesco Seguros now if you think it's a good
definitely
time to do that, Enazi.
Go ahead, Glaucio.
Yeah, so we are an insurance company, the largest in Latin America. We are based in Brazil, very focused on the local market. Last year, we had a revenue of 20 billion euros, which was quite good, and it left us a net profit of 1.5 billion euros. And fortunately, this year the numbers are looking even stronger than that. So we are presenting good results, and of course, the challenge that we have is to keep going with this level of outcomes.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Glaucio, and again, thanks for coming here today. We've been talking a lot around AI today, but also over the last 2 years, a lot of companies, everybody's talking about AI. So when you decided back then, early in 2024, to start adopting AI for SDLC, what was the main motivation that sparked this change in your strategy and decided then to adopt artificial intelligence for your development processes?
Well, I'm pretty sure that all of you know that the investment in technology is one of the biggest constraints every company has. So the good side of our company is that we have an amazing sales team that is able to bring home a revenue of 20 billion euros every year. But on the other hand, we are obsessed by efficiency. So we need to provide the most with the budget that we have for our annual investment. And that was the main motivation for us to look at AI. So this obsession to make more with the investment that we have, it's not little, but it's always a constraint, right? In every company, the investment in technology is something that you need to take the most of it. And the other side of this equation is that we have very nice and very good strategic partners like GFT and a few others that are connected with technology. So using these connections, we saw that AI was gaining momentum mainly in code development, but we asked ourselves together with GFT, what else can we do instead of just using for accelerating coding, but can we use in the overall system development lifecycle in other arenas as well? So that was the main trigger that sparked the whole thing and got us where we are today.
Mm-hmm. During today's session, and usually when we are reading the market around the impact of artificial intelligence, we are very keen to explore what are the, let's say, the quantitative KPIs that are supporting this strategy. But I'm interested also to know a little bit more about the qualitative KPIs. So did you experience any change between before, in our case, using Wings and after using Wings in your operations, in your teams?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I think I can highlight three main things here. One of them is the shift left. So we are able to anticipate our gates of quality, security, so all of that. So it put us in a very good position to understand earlier where the showstoppers would be and get ahead of time in terms of being faster in anticipating what would be happening with the code when the code gets to a quality or security gate. So we have less code being holding these gates, which means that we are more productive. The other thing is the shift right. We are also being able to give the product owner more previsibility about the outcomes. When a certain epic or story will be ready, how much it will cost. So it's more predictable now for the product owner to understand the whole thing. But probably the most interesting is probably what we are seeing in the screen now. We got a very simple word cloud from our tool. Jira is the tool that we're using to store all the data we have about our agile development. And that's the nice thing about having data, right? So before using AI, we got this word cloud, and what was screaming, the clouds, that the words that are screaming on the cloud were mainly about the process. So we could see things like daily alignment, so the ceremony of the agile methodology. After using AI, we start seeing these words changing to the actual objective of the squad. So in a very insightful way, we noticed that the mindset of the team was changing from the process to the final outcome, from the objective of the squad. And it was very interesting.
Mm-hmm. And Glaucio, that question we cannot miss, right? So qualitative KPIs is for sure an improvement in the attitude of the team towards the adoption of AI, but we should touch as well the quantitative one. So what can you share around those metrics that you're taking into consideration to say, yes, Wings was providing value to our operation?
Well, and that's all that matters, right? So the bottom line, so the results itself. And what we noticed is once we are in regime, so after implementing AI, we could see gains from 30 to 40% in productivity. What it means in the real world, it means that this year, 2025, we are delivering with the same technology investment that we had last year, 30 to 40% more to the business. So, and we opted to do that, right? The other option that we could have is just save this money, and actually are doing that in certain areas. For example, in maintenance, we are able to maintain the systems this year, costing 30% less than we paid exactly for the same maintenance last year. So it's a cost reduction for real. But for investment to develop new things, we opted to protect the investment. But this year we are delivering 30 to 40% more to the business in terms of the main metric that we use here is function points. So we are able to deliver more function points to the business, 30 to 40% more function points to the business, this year than we delivered last year. And one good thing is that we are using these metrics for 5 to 6 years. So we are quite mature in understanding how our productivity behaves in the overall development cycle. How many function points each squad, each agile squad is able to deliver, month after month. So we are quite mature in these metrics, which helped a lot us to understand and to measure these gains in an effective way.
Mm-hmm. I think that is instrumental to have a good methodology to measure performance of different providers, of course, including GFT. But clearly, that was the baseline for you to then determine that GFT was, let's say, one of the winners, right, in this AI race. I know that you also have some KPIs from Bradesco that you want to share with the wider audience today. Please, Glaucio, tell us about what we see on the screen at the moment.
Well, yeah, the gains that we had in productivity, they are many different flavors. So we saw these gains in application modernization, in code conversion, in everything. The one that I like the most is probably what you can see in the left bottom of this screen. We are calling vulnerability for the lack of better word, but it's prevention against cyber attacks. We have many tools in the market that are able to identify a potential threat that happened somewhere in the world. Then we check our code against that threat, and we start fixing to eliminate, to prevent, to being threatened by similar attack. When we look at that 2023, we acted in roughly 60,000 preventions. And we spent 13 million our local currency reais. And then the following year, which was last year, we did 3 times more with half of the budget. So it's an impressive gain. And this year, we kept the same budget for this kind of activity, and very likely we'll be delivering 50% more than we did last year. That's the kind of repetitive work where AI is very strong, where we can see the results in a very strong and very positive way. Mm-hmm. So this is for highlight one of the pieces that we have in the overall development cycle.
So more value with the same budget. I guess your chief financial officer is super happy, I guess, with the outcomes. Glaucio, thinking about...
You know very well that they are always asking for more.
Yeah.
And our mission is to challenge you guys to deliver us more. So we are together on this.
And we're fully committed to deliver that as well. So thinking about and sharing more, let's say, details around the main features that the developers use the most. What can you share around this topic with the audience today?
Well, we are using for the entire development life cycle. So one thing that the analysts, they like quite a lot is to use agents to help in the story creation. And we measure the quality of the store by points. So we can see that a story that was level 5, for example, last year, is punctuating something like 7 this year. So we have a better quality stories being produced. And a better quality story affects the whole cycle, right? It goes smoother through the whole development cycle. But for the developer itself, what they do like is in this prevention to cyber attacks is a very good example, because the work that developer used to do was to get dozens, hundreds of code, very similar pieces of code, and do very similar changes in those pieces of code. So it was quite repetitive for them. They did almost the same change in hundreds of different codes. Now what they do is work in a prompt that will be doing the work for them. So that they love it. It changes completely the mindset of the developer. And then, after the prompt is done, they see the end result, and then they refine the prompt to get even better. And that's where the productivity is coming.
Mm-hmm. Part of it is cultural change. But if we talk about challenges, right? More than 180 professionals across more than 20 squads. What can you share around the challenges that we have had during this period?
Yeah, if we look at this number of 20 squads is what we have with GFT. If we look at the broader team, we have almost 200 squads running. And I think there are two things that we noticed. One of them is the time. So the productivity does not come fast. We noticed that we spent 3 months in a setup and ramping up the team. So if we have a squad that's not using AI, for the very same squad to get ready, we need to train the professionals. We need to get the tooling ready. They need to get used to that. And what we noticed is that it typically takes 3 months for the whole thing is ready. And in these 3 months, we didn't see any gains. Actually, sometimes we see even some worsening on the productivity. But after that, the magic starts happening. In the following 3 months, we can see this number stabilizing. So then the productivity starts to show up, and the teams get their gears really going, and we see the numbers showing up. That was one thing. So you need to persevere in doing the work and get confident that results will come. The other thing that we notice is that the results, mainly at the beginning, over these first 6 months, they are very heterogeneous across the different squads. Mainly because what is very typical is that we start with the squads with the worst productivity. So we see the major gains in them because they had a bad productivity at the beginning. So if we look, throughout the different line of businesses, we saw that the gains were, as high as 70% in one side and as low as 20% in the other. But when all of these come together and stabilize after these 6 months, what we can see, after all this turbulence is gone, is that we end up with 30 to 40% gains overall. So, you need to pass through that to see a stable result at the end. So, and sometimes people are impatient, to wait for that and anxious to see the results, and the results are showing something, and they think they can take that for granted. So you need to give some time to get a stable number out of it.
I think that some part of the KPIs that or the aspects have already been shared in the following plot. But just for the sake of time, Glaucia, I'm going to jump to the next one, which is part of the story that you were sharing in the latest question is related to having this perseverance, having this strategic vision that needs to be implemented and wait for the results to come, right? From that angle, are you redefining the concept of your workforce in this new AI era?
Yeah, we are doing that. So of course we need to change the way that the team is working, and it's very important. They need to change. We need to change. You mentioned before, right? It's a cultural change. So we need to change the mindset of the team to take advantages of the new tools that they have available. And being a developer, I know it's quite hard for the developer to believe that AI will be doing better than the developer. It's a very artisanal kind of work, and they love to do the stuff. But once they are challenged to do prompts that help them to do the work, it starts getting interesting. So that's a very important thing. But I think we are now moving to a different stage, right? We until now we have been using AI to accelerate the work of the team. I think we are now moving to a point where AI agents will be doing a complete piece of work by themselves. And I think that's the next challenge we have together. How can we have mixed squads where we have some humans, but also some autonomous agents that we just ask them to produce a piece of code and we test it and we get it done and joint with the rest of the work to have the whole thing ready.
Very aligned to our view as well. Now for closing, Glaucio, what tips would you like to share with the wider audience that we had here today, face-to-face and also virtually connected to this session of all the journey that you have started more than 1 year ago?
Well, there are 4 things that I usually like to share with the people. First of them is that security is, a must. So if you have any doubts that your code will be protected, don't go there. So you need to make sure that everything is secure from the beginning. Your code will not be shared with anyone else. Your data is protected. That's the very first thing. The second one is that you need to have the people trained. So investment in enhancing people ability is very important. Needed to get the tools to train, to understand how the technology is evolving. So keep the space is very, very important. And then the other 2, I got this from Charles Darwin on his theory of evolution. Right? He noticed that who survives in the nature is not the strongest or the fastest. It is the most adaptable to change. And I think it's so true in our corporate world as well. So being able to change constantly is what differentiates us as a company, and we need to understand that and keep this space as well. And the last thing also comes from Darwin. He noticed that for a species to evolve, competition is very important, but collaboration is even more. So that's why we love to share with other companies, to learn from them as well, to evolve together. And I already leaving here the invite for everyone for us to collaborate and go beyond.
And let me add, point number 5 is working alongside GFT into that journey, but it's going to be me saying that, Glaucio, not you. Thank you very much, Glaucio, for being our trusted partner in that journey, for being here today to share everything that you shared with us, your experiences, the challenges that, of course, it is not an easy task to do, but definitely Bradesco Seguros is determined to go into that direction, and we are honored and proud that GFT is part of that journey together with you. Thank you, Glaucio.
My pleasure. Again, thanks for the invite.
Well, many thanks also from my side, Glaucio. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ignazi, for hosting that sessions and for the insights and sharing these impressive results, real tangible results from real project that connects very well to the theory we heard before. So we now turn into a topic that is absolutely crucial for the global financial stability, the role of AI in combating financial crime. And please welcome my colleague Floris van Heest and Michael Laws from Deutsche Bank for our next slot. The stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Warm welcome from me as well. We'll be switching gears now. We heard a lot about Wings as one of our proud products. In my team, Software Solutions, we actually also are very proud to have the products of Smaragd, where we have been serving many banks, especially in Germany and in Switzerland, Austria, to stay compliant. A key capability of keeping the license and keeping the trust of your brand is actually being able to detect what kind of money flows through the bank, and also adhere to all the regulations that keep on changing and keep on being added across the world to fight terrorist funding, to fight financial crime, to fight money laundering. We're very proud to have been serving Deutsche Bank for many, many years in this space. And I have a great pleasure of welcoming Mike Laws into the call. If we can switch to the screen. Perfect. Hi, Mike. Good afternoon.
Hi, everyone. How are we doing?
So Mike is actually in London, and Mike Laws is responsible for all of the technology stack that Deutsche Bank uses globally to fight financial crime, which, as you can imagine, is a growing piece of technology, because technology works both ways, right? You can use it for the good side, you can also use it for the bad side. And Mike is the one that tries to keep up or even be in front of the bad guys by having the right technology stack in the bank. So Mike, welcome to the audience. If you would like to briefly introduce yourself and your role in Deutsche Bank.
Thank you, Floris. Yeah, Michael Laws. I've been at Deutsche Bank for over 15 years now. I've worked in many parts of the organization, started off in their markets business, but always in technology. And then in about 2017, I was asked to take a professional risk and move into infrastructure, potentially to infuse part of the organization with a bit more of a commercial mindset. And I've been kind of in compliance and AFC ever since 2017, predominantly based in London. I've done some time I did 3 years in New York as well. And more so, I'm doing regular trips to Germany. But I would say that's a nice brief introduction for me, Floris.
Very good. So 15 years in the bank, the last 7 years only in fighting financial crime. Let's first do a quick look back, right? So what would you say is the biggest trend in technology in specifically your area of the bank? What have you seen changing much in the past years?
Yeah, well, it's what's changed, or almost I think what hasn't changed is often that's almost more relevant pointing out. So I think one thing that's different to many other sort of commercial parts of an organization is that I find that in regulation, compliance, and AFC, we're sort of never finished. So I like to keep with me a few examples of, what was acceptable in terms of transaction monitoring or screening at the beginning of this journey. And I'll pick on one, which is client screening. So obviously every bank has to regularly screen not just its clients, but associated parties for sanctions, risks, internal watch lists, a variety of things. And, if I go back to that first day in AFC and compliance back in sort of 2017, we could probably screen about 500,000 parties a day, and that was probably okay. And, if I look to what our plans are next year, we're going to probably be doing 30 million parties multiple times a day, and that's probably okay. So the expectation kind of moves rapidly in this space, and it's always just okay. I've had a few instances where we've been called out for some particularly good work, but generally it's trying to keep pace with the regulation. And of course, the next one is, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a bit more detail later, is the utilization of AI and machine learning. And I don't think anybody involved in this space has not noticed that more recently there's been far more willingness and increasing engagement from regulators around the potential for AI, which wasn't always the case. You could argue that you could interpret the new EU AML regulation that kind of level of engagement has moved to support, which very quickly becomes expectation. So clearly, I would be surprised if there's many top tier banks that don't have some AI detection next year. Just to round out this thing that we're never finished, there is this, we must not only keep pace with regulation, but we also have to keep pace with business and market growth. So like if you pick transaction monitoring, the UK digital payment market, I think it's going to be about $450 billion this year. That's going to double by 2029. And real-time payment transactions for the last 2-3 years have gone up approaching 50%. And your monitoring environment is just expected to handle that. You know, if I take some very real examples where we've introduced clients into Deutsche Bank that are merchant solutions, money service bureaus, payment service bureaus, we're talking about going from a system that probably has to handle 100,000 transactions a day or a month to tens of millions. And we need notice to do that. So I think the first big kind of challenge in the past few years is that sort of expectation, like we're never finished. More recently is absolutely this expectation versus actual progress that can be achieved with AI. You know, I think those commercial products out there like ChatGPT, Gemini, you know, they are so gratifying, right? You know, they are designed for the consumer market. They make you feel good. And then you start thinking about how I could apply that to a regulatory environment. And the margin for error is so low in what we do, or the requirement to explain an error if it happens. You know, I would just use an example from last weekend where I was trying to understand the internal temperature that I had to remove a joint of beef from the oven. I didn't want to know what temperature it had to be. I wanted it to account for the resting period, the temperature increase, and it told me that I should remove it from the oven when it was 5,658 degrees Celsius. Now, if I had somehow applied that to a threshold or something in my transaction monitoring system, I wouldn't be able to say, well, you know, you win some, you lose some with AI. So I still think there's that barrier that we kind of have this expectation that's been put on us in tech and we haven't quite achieved. And I would say the last one that I will talk about in terms of the challenges where I really think the value comes from is really understanding the bank's role in fighting financial crime. Yeah. So we don't arrest people. We don't go and find criminals. We are a part of a very, very regimented structure that informs kind of governing bodies and law enforcement regionally and in specific countries. We play a part. And sometimes, if you don't truly understand the laws, regs, and guidance, you can actually sort of get a little bit ahead of yourself in trying to think, oh, surely we need to do this. And actually, that's not our part in the overall picture. So one thing I think in more recent years is, you know, really understanding what excellence looks like in terms of our piece of the puzzle. So, Floris, I think those three challenges of the last year, right, of the last few years for me have been that, you know, that expectation, we're never finished, that AI is supposed to make everything we do super easy, but we still seem to be doing loads of work. And then this evolution around really understanding what excellence looks like for a bank and the role they play in financial crime.
Okay, so okay is never good enough, or is just good enough, right? That's your emotional state in most days. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, look, as I said, I think we've had I've had a couple of examples in my career. One example when we really moved to some cutting edge technology around voice surveillance and how we're able to demonstrate lexicon hits on specific and have it graphically represented across the WAV file, the lexicon hits, and we were actually presenting that to the SEC, 6 years ago or something, and they couldn't help themselves. They said, "We've never seen something that's good." Yeah.
Right.
So it can happen, but I think the general consensus is that remember the regulators are not there to motivate us, right? They're not there to tell us that we're doing a great job. They're there to ensure that we are actually complying with the laws, regs, and guidance that we're provided with. So we're probably looking in the wrong direction if we're expecting them to pat us on the back for a job well done.
Okay. Hey, over the summer, we presented our roadmap for Smaragd, where, very fitting to what you just described, we actually will leave 20 years of rule-based growth, right? Where we kept on adding rule after rule after rule after rule depending on what the regulator could see and could foresee what was happening, to actually say, no, we need AI in the core, and then we will add as many rules as that we need for Germany, for Switzerland, for Austria, and for other countries. And as one of the results, from the end of that discussion, also the dialogue with you guys, where we have a very intense dialogue on where we need to take the product also for a bank at your scale. You were actually came back to us and said, we have now made the strategic decision that you will be the leading platform for today and tomorrow in this space. And I'm sure that part of that is this trust that our vision on the AI and the AI capabilities and the journey, but keep it regulated, transparent, and trustworthy, was a big part of that decision. So can you elaborate a bit on the reasoning and why you were able to extend that trust for the coming years as well?
Yeah, sure. Look, I mean, I think our experience, one thing that's quite interesting when you look back at our history with Smarag, as you said, I think you will know better than I, like the first deployment of Smarag, but quite interestingly, it's been there for so long, and despite like attempted changes in strategy. So we have looked at other products, but actually, in the background, the product's been maturing. We saw quite a significant uplift from version 4 to version 5, which, almost sort of incidentally, part of Deutsche Bank's technology strategy is that you must keep software within X number of versions. So we were sort of, as a result, sort of forced to do the upgrade to version 5, and actually were pleasantly surprised by a lot of the upgrades that we saw in that product. I think, from a usage platform, I think it offers like the sort of versatility of your kind of indicator setup. So, you can be a low tech savvy individual and be able to construct indicators pretty readily. Because of the nature of the organization, GFT, and your exposure at Deutsche Bank as a CTB partner as well, very recently, I've been very appreciative of what we've achieved. What you guys delivered for us on Monday this week, which was, some resource augmentation to actually get a number of those indicators set up in short order. So certainly, for us as an organization, that's something that's quite helpful for me as a CIO when I've got, the product development partner is also a strategic CTB partner. Sometimes there's complexities from a procurement perspective if I'm picking up specialist professional services that are tied to a product, right? But actually, as an organization and a parent company, I think you were quite uniquely positioned the last, particularly what we had to do this month. I think also we've had some very open dialogue recently in terms of, trying to, how we could maybe introduce risk scoring, very open around obviously what we need to do from a cloud migration perspective. That's kind of key for us, right? We are 100% cloud first. That's probably, like, as we discussed only this week, that's probably the next big thing to fit into our joint roadmap is, when do we think we can have a version of this stood up on GCP? I still think, one of the things that if I was a vendor in transaction monitoring, I would find it very, very challenging to deal with the diversity of clients that you have, right? So you've got on one side of the fence, you've got all these organizations that want to buy a solution. They want it out of the box. So what they think they're doing is that they're buying a product, and then the expectation is that gets them, a score, that gets them a B-. If they implement it, they get a B-. It's good enough, move on. But then you've got other organizations at the other scale that are like, I know what I need to do. I know what the models are. I want to write my own models. And so I think what we've got with Smarag today is we've sort of been able to do a bit of both. I don't personally understand exactly how the transition to AI-based detection will work. I've seen how we do the recall. I know it exposes, it opens up a whole new quadrant of risk that we can capture. But all these AI-based systems, struggle to get a recall of above 80%, but then the message is that you're finding another 40%, and that's the business case. But yeah, look, I think the product has worked well in our environment. Very important for us, at least, to have that kind of German centricity and the penetration of Smarag into the German market. And for Deutsche Bank particularly, it's been helpful to have that partnership of a strategic CTB partner that GFT is, plus the software provider.
All right, fantastic. And I think one of the things that Mike called out was the work we delivered on Monday. Why is that? Well, in the world of regulations, Q4 is always very, very busy because that's basically when you have to prepare for the rules of 2026, right? So we have to always make sure that our system and then our clients are ready to actually adhere to whatever 2026 is added onto the system. So that's why we are working very intensely now in literally adding those rules into the system as they fit into the work that Deutsche Bank wants us to do. And then secondly, what you called out, and which actually is also in the end the reason why I recently joined GFT, that is the power of the combination of having software, but also having this long-term capability of actually being able to help large banks in the core of their business, connecting the right data, connecting the right software, and then adding our own intelligent IP to actually make sure that then their process not only works, but to keep them compliant, secure, and trustworthy. And so, Mike, with that, thank you very, very much for being able to dial in. I know you were supposed to be in another meeting, so thanks for taking the time to join us here. And with that, greetings to London. See you next time. Thank you for today.
See you, Floris.
Bye-bye.
See you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you very much. Mike already vanished. Thank you very much, Floris, for that essential deep dive into how AI is transforming anti-financial crime. Fascinating views into a very crucial topic. So now we broaden the perspective even further to decision intelligence, analytics, and risk innovation at scale. And I'm very pleased to, in a few minutes, welcome Alexander Graffi, a Senior Vice President and Managing Director at FICO, who will share how advanced analytics and AI are shaping smarter, more predictive decision-making across the financial industry, and how the global partnership between FICO and GFT, what we will announce very shortly, will help banks act in real time, stop fraud early, and simplify risk decision using AI. And I welcome back Marco on stage for hosting that session with Alex, right? Good.
Thank you, Andres. Hi, Alex. How are you doing?
Hello, Marco. I'm good. And you?
Very good. Very good to have you here on the stage, on the virtual stage, and welcome, right? And thank you very much for the opportunity. And I would like to ask you. I know that was quite short notice, right? This organization, and thanks for you to make it. I know that you are in a global event, right, from FICO in the United States, in USA right now. And but if you can introduce yourself and you can introduce FICO, I think that obviously all the American audience that is connected here obviously knows FICO. I lived in USA, and I know how FICO is important for our lives, right? To buy a car, to buy insurance, and a house. But if you can introduce FICO and also introduce and also talk about what we've been talking for a while. This is global partnership and so on and so forth.
No, it will be my pleasure. As you said, Actually, this week I'm in Atlanta. We are running here our global kickoff. We just started our fiscal year now early in October. So it's a pleasure to be here with you, talking a little bit about FICO, about our partnership. I run our B2B and marketplace business. It involves all our partners around the world. I'm based out of Miami. I joined FICO 12 years ago. And actually, during this time, FICO has grown a lot. FICO is a global leader in AI-powered decisioning, and our platform brings together data, analytics, decisioning, and optimization into a single environment. It enables financial institutions to move from manual siloed decision processes to automated, explainable, real-time decision intelligence with government and compliance built in. As you said, FICO is very well known in the US. We have two businesses. We have the scores business and the software business. We operate as a single company, but with these two lines of businesses. And talking a little bit about our partnership with GFT.
But sorry to interrupt you, but what's the volume? Hello, listen. But sorry to interrupt you, but if you can give a glimpse here, what's the market cap of FICO right now? What's the size in terms of revenue, and KPIs that can go with number of transactions and the fraud positioning, anti-fraud in the world?
Yes, for sure. In terms of market cap, our market cap is currently around $40 billion. We have around 4,000 employees around the world. FICO was launched in 1956. It means that next year it's an important milestone for us, 70 years operating the market. And we operate basically globally, Marco. So we have a global operation. And of course, our presence in the US is quite strong, also because, as you said, everyone knows FICO as well due to the scores and the importance of the scores in the credit market.
Fantastic. And what's can talk about our partnership, what we envision together, and what?
Absolutely, and it excites me a lot when we talk about partnership. As I said, FICO will turn 70 years. And until 4 years ago, FICO was basically driven by direct sales motion. 4 years ago, FICO decided to invest on another distribution channel, creating a new go-to-market motion, opening the opportunity to work with partners. And it means that we are still in our, let's say, initial phase, but we defined a very small number, selective partners to work with us. Partners that we understand that can move the needle for FICO, and FICO can move the needle for partners. So why GFT? Exactly because we understand that we can complement really well one each other. FICO brings to the market our technology, our platform. As I said before, we moved from siloed solutions to a platform. We landed this new technology already in around 200 global financial institutions. It means everywhere in the world. We are talking about Latin America, US, Asia, Europe. And with GFT, we can bring a very important IP that will allow our customers to accelerate their digital transformation journey. And it will allow our journeys, our customers to bring more innovation to their processes, what will translate into a better customer experience for their customers. And at the end of the day, it's what the market is looking for. So as an example, we have discussed a lot about bringing an integration between Smaragd and our platform, how we can bring an AML use case to FICO platform, allowing customers that are already using our platform around the world to automatically connect with an AML solution. And also allowing your installed base to have an easier connection with FICO platform, and also exploring other use cases that GFT can help us to implement it faster with the workforce that you have across multiple countries and in multiple institutions. So it's a win-win partnership, and a partnership that we have big aspirations.
And it's a partnership that's already generating revenues, right? Dollars, right? And euros for all of us, right? Because we are working in 2 projects, right? In Latin America and in Asia, right now, right? Which is very good, right? I love to talk about partnerships when you have results, right?
No, absolutely. I mean, before having results, I used to say that we are dating. Now we married. So we got married already. We have our first really real clients operating together with FICO in GFT. And this is the beauty of it, because we know that when we have this step going to real customers, it tends to scale really fast. And this is our goal. It's to bring it to the market at scale and see a lot of financial services institutions working together with FICO and GFT.
Fantastic, Alex. And any other thing that you'd like to bring for the audience here? A close remark.
Just highlighting once again my exciting about this partnership, and one thing that is crucial for the success of the partnership is when the teams work in a very collaborative way and in a very integrated way. And this is a kind of synergy that we have seen since the beginning between FICO and GFT. So both teams, they really operate as one group, and the customers, they feel it. This is why we could have success really quick, as you said, in 2 different regions, Latin America and Asia. And now we look for the success that we will definitely have also in Europe and in US.
Fantastic. And for us, I would say that it's really proud, and I'm very honored to have the opportunity to be part of the global list of partners of FICO and create this global partnership with such a company with that size, with your magnitude, right? $40-ish billion market cap, the #1 company in rating scoring in the United States of America, right? So basically all the citizens in the US deal with FICO every week. And also you guys were recognized the #1 in the world last year, right, in anti-fraud, right, in the whole world. So it's for us, it's very important and proud to get closer. And let's move forward with our projects on core banking with the FICO elements of a platform. Also bring Wings to accelerate the AI transformation of the projects that FICO are doing. And number 3, to bring SmartAct right into the FICO store, right? And then bring that to SmartAct, and also think on even new features, for example, crypto, anti-money laundering for crypto, right? Which is something that is definitely a next generation wave, and we together can work on that. Very good. Alex, thank you very much for the time. Really appreciate it, and wish you and wish all of us all the best. Thank you very much.
My pleasure, Marco. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marco. Thank you very much, Graphy, for that insightful view into how decision intelligence and smart analytics power better risk decisions across the industry. Thank you very much for the very spontaneous willingness to frame that global partnership between GFT and FICO in a few words. More to come in the next days. We now move from analytics to operational transformation with a strong joint success story. Please welcome Alexander Lesen from Deutsche Bank and from DKB, sorry, my fault. Alexander Lesen from DKB Code Factory and Sascha Beck from GFT to share how DKB is driving efficiency, agility, and digital delivery with GFT. Please, Sascha.
Danke, Andreas. Schönen guten Tag. A very warm welcome. Today, it's a pleasure
to meet you all, and it's a pleasure especially to welcome Alexander Lesten here remotely, Managing Director of DKB, Deutsche Kreditbank. So very similar to Deutsche, but Deutsche Kreditbank, another business model. A pleasure to have you here, Alexander, remotely. It's really good. Maybe do you want to start with a short introduction of yourself and maybe give us a brief overview about Deutsche Kreditbank DKB? What is the business model behind?
For sure. Thank you, Sascha. Very well. Nice to having me. Some words about myself. I'm Alexander Lesten, General Manager of DKB Code Factory. DKB Code Factory is a subsidiary of DKB. And we are building together with DKB some, digital products, for our clients. We are doing this since 2018. So, and we have currently something about 200 people here working at DKB Code Factory, and normally all the kind of people you need to build digital products. Yeah. Some more works of DKB, as you might know, DKB is one of the largest online banking in Germany. So we have roughly around 6 million customers, mostly private customers, but also we are very strong in business customers. We're growing during the last years, and we want to grow in different kind of areas. When you're reading the newspapers, some of you might realize that we are going also to more in the direction of brokerage, and also in this cooperation with GFT, we are building some nice products in this area.
So thank you. Great to hear that, and it's a really success story when you see the growth of DKB over the last few years. Over the last 2 years, DKB and GFT have developed a really success story. We've built up and built, operate, transfer model. So an own development delivery center in Valencia. This is the project we want to share with you all today. So that's the story behind our success. Today, about 55 specialists are working in Valencia, working for DKB, developing software, cool stuff, innovative stuff, and it's really good to have a look behind the scenes today. So, talking about results and behind the scenes, we should mention that we were able to reduce the cost in comparison Berlin to Valencia about more than 30%. So it's a really huge effort we made together with DKB to reach these goals. And also for GFT, it was a milestone because it was a crucial project for us. It was really important to get the right people on board, to get the business model running, to show that 30% of cost reduction is possible with a nearshore development center, and it was really important for us to show our global delivery competence, we mentioned also earlier today. So we are really happy and proud that we have this trust of DKB, and the management team of DKB, the board members visited us in Valencia over the past weeks and months. So it's really a good story to share with you all. And now we want to keep a look behind the scenes, and maybe Alexander, let's start with a look back at the beginning. What was the reason that you've decided to build up an own delivery development center in Valencia?
Yeah, the starting point is what I always say, digitalization is not done. So, and for several years, DKB has a clear strategy. We want to further strengthen our position as German leading digital banks, and to achieve this, software development is or have to become a core competence. And what I mentioned before, we have here also a hub in Berlin with more than 200 people from all over the world, and we are we're standing in front of the question how to grow. Grow in Berlin or grow in another place around Europe, and therefore we are looking for location to make ensure to have a hub where we are able to build stable, quality, and long-term teams. Yeah, And Valencia so far was a perfect choice with us. We took the choice together with GFT, and it offers a growing tech scene, some strong universities, and a high quality of life. And we were able to get talent, attractive talent. That is the main aspect. And together with you, so we prepared this decision, and now we are here. Some years, one year later,
Exactly. So we get in contact 3 years ago, and we started with some small nearshore project, and then we delivered, and we created and gained this trust. So maybe, Alexander, can you give us an insight? Why did you choose GFT for such a special project?
To put it in one word, trust. Sasha, you mentioned a couple of times, that is the highest level of relationship, to doing such a trustful and very, delicious project, to be honest. So we know each other very well for some certain times. We, did a lot of projects together, and we were created a good relationship, and we are had whatever good feeling that the GFT is a good partner, have good technology experience, a good banking know-how as well. Not only in Spain, very very good connection and local presence. So and that was the starting point. And I can also share with you that I was traveling around Europe to find a good partner and a good place, because I was always saying, when I go somewhere from Berlin, and as you know, we are a German credit bank. We are mostly located we are only located in Germany when we are going abroad. So you need a good partner. You get a reliable partner, a stable partner, to start such a business. And together with the GFT, that allowed us to start quickly, to reduce the risk, and to make sure that we will become, that everything's become successful, success story. And so what I can say so far, I have all this feeling, GFT was transparent, or is transparent and trustful from day one. And now we are here one year later,
Yeah, I remember the first conversation we had, and then we discovered several locations of the GFT universe. And then it was clear, okay, Valencia could be a great, attractive, sunny place to hire with our GFT network, to universities, recruitment areas, and so on. Now 55 people, specialists in core technologies to provide online banking services and so on in Valencia, in our office. So we share our spaces, we share our expertise, we share our network with the local government and so on. And now we are in the phase working together. The 55 people are working exclusively for DKB, developing new code, new topics together with AI. And at the end of next year, it will be an own subsidiary of DKB. So the people will move over to a legal entity of DKB. That's our understanding of trust and partnership, when we are able to release people we've hired to a client, because we are convinced that this trust will evolve and we will participate together from this trust. And now we've mentioned 30% cost advantages and so on. Maybe can you give us some insights how you achieved that, Alexander?
I guess it's a question of efficiency and structure. We both sit together, and we are, rethought the processes, now the GFT processes, also our processes, and to build new teams from scratch. I guess that is one of the key aspects, to find good talent which have a lot of knowledge about how building digital products. DKB is I would say, in a situation where we are changing from a traditional banking to a more tech company. And for that can be a long, long path, and these kind of teams, these new teams, these fresh blood with new ideas is helping us to do this, and the teams in Valencia are following the modern principles about DevOps and continuous delivery and test-driven the development and stuff like that, and that is helping us, and is also helpful that we have a good mix of seniority, So we agreed that we will have a good setup from 30% of senior, 30% of mid-levels, 40% of juniors, so to build. A good, attractive environment for everybody and for stable teams. And so the cost reduction is a result of more also the efficiency of the organization.
And beside the cost, you've also managed to increase the quality and the output of codes, of line of codes, of story points, and so on. How?
What I mentioned before, I guess a major point was to building these teams up from scratch. So it was really impressive how fast it not only was to find the talent, it was also impressive how fast it was that the talent were into the topics. After whatever 3 or 4 months, you were able to see how they were using the typical DKB language to understand the technology, to understand the problem, and the motivation to drive things forward. That was really impressive for everybody, and also the working together with the teams closely with the colleagues in Berlin. You can imagine from the beginning on, we had some questions. How can it work? Different culture, different languages, different kind of backgrounds. Is it really doable? So was it only a dream? But it was really nice also from the DKB part that everybody was open to share, to collaborate. We have a lot of people coming from Berlin to Valencia and in other region. Everybody was really excited to be part of this journey, and that was good. So we were pray for that, we hope for that, but it was at the end of the day very nice to have that, and with all these setup, these modern tools and metals, and it was able to deliver fast and very, very short, and we are more than happy. So.
So AI was the dominant topic today. So looking ahead, also with you, I would like to ask you, which role does AI takes in your strategy, in your technical topics you have to solve? Maybe you can give us some insights.
I guess you can bring it to the point. AI is core element of our digital transformation. So no doubt about that. So and the pace of change in the market and increasing regulatory demand and rising customer expectations all make it clear banking for the future will rely on intelligent use of data and automation. So, and with a new development center in Valencia, we created exactly the structure we need to scale a scalable development process, modern technology and platform, and to have interdisciplinary teams and have the talent, to go quickly into these technology, to get quickly in these data and these automation things, and to be successful in AI. At the end of the day, you need people, you need the talent, you need the knowledge, to drive these things forward. And what we want to be also to be more, independent, and to own this kind of knowledge by ourselves, to learn it and to make it to ours. And the setup enables us to develop these things fast, to roll out AI driven, to build innovation, and so far, the project was for more than an efficient initiative. It led us the technical and organizational foundation for DKB to adapt AI in practice. So, from my perspective, a win-win-win situation.
Okay, Alexander, thank you for these great insights. And from my perspective, I think it's really measurable what happens when a trust and the common goal and technological excellence come together and we build up something new from scratch. And I think we can use this trust and the knowledge of the DKB to strengthen our partnership. And we are happy to have you here as a client. Thanks for your insights, and we are looking forward for the collaboration. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Alexander. Thank you very much, Sasha. Let's have a very short break of 10 minutes until we have our next client success case on stage. It will be Eric Marcoux from Beneva out of Canada. So we meet again in 10 minutes. Maybe you have a bio break or coffee or maybe something to drink. Okay, thank you very much for your patience. We needed to have a short break to set up the technique again. But next, we look ahead at the future of core systems and technology leadership, and we'll talk about Beneva's modernization journey. Beneva has gained a reputation for being among the most innovative insurers in Canada, especially by adopting new guide-wire cloud features early. Please welcome Eric Marcoux from Beneva together with Marco. Marco, the stage is yours.
Hi, Eric. Thanks for joining. I can see you. How are you doing? Good. Thank you very much.
Fine, great.
We really appreciate your time and your dedication here. And if you can start and give some glimpse about Beneva, right? And what's the company and the business and also the strategic movements that you guys did with the merge that happened, and then you can again also ask some other questions about the GFT, the project, etc. But let's start with the Beneva, right? And also introduce yourself as well. Really appreciate it.
That's great. So you still hear me well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Very well.
So hello everyone. My name is Eric Marcoux. I'm IT Vice President at Beneva Insurance, in charge of property and casualty IT systems and also corporate IT systems. Beneva Insurance is an insurance company in Canada. We're located in the province of Quebec, but we also have operations in the Ontario province. Beneva is currently the largest mutual insurance company in Canada, and eventually we will operate in the other provinces of Canada as well. So Beneva is more than 6,000 employees, $17 billion company. We have a broad range of insurance products to our customers, and some of them are for P&C, for personal lines, and also commercial lines. Beneva is the result of a merge of two equal-sized carriers in province of Quebec called La Capitale Insurance and SSQ Insurance. We did merge together to forge Beneva Insurance in order to have more capital, in order to be able to do acquisitions, to go a lot more in the Canada country, in our market, and also to survive to the competition that is now worldwide, because since COVID, as you may see, a lot of transactions are being done on the web, so that but are not new kind of competitors in the insurance and financial services industry. So we wanted to do this merger in order to grow. And if everything goes as we expect in January of next year, we will do the merge with Gore Insurance, located in province of Ontario, and there's other mergers and acquisitions to come in the other provinces of Canada. So I think it gives you a good walkthrough of who is Beneva Insurance.
Fantastic, Eric. And what about in the midst of all those change and all those merge and all those challenges? So how comes into play the technology, right? The technology challenge that you guys faced, that Beneva faced, and you in your role and run those strategic projects to move the company forward?
Yeah, good question. So when you merge two insurance companies of equal size that each have their own IT ecosystem, what we have done is we have taken the best of both worlds on both companies, and then we have done choices in each of the areas, PNC insurance, group insurance, life and health insurance, financial services, BI, the office platform, and all of that you can imagine. And then we did plan all of that. It was more than 200 projects that we have done at the same time during the first 3 years of the merge, so between 2020 and 2023. And we've been delivering all of that. Meanwhile, still continue to attain our objectives of the company, and also to be there for our customers. So we have chosen to be a SaaS first company in order for us to not develop and build everything by ourselves. And we are working very close with our partners. And we have also decided to ask help from our system integrators, RSIs, that we consider our partners, like GFT, that has been very helpful for me and for us for PNC, but also for group insurance and other areas where we've been working with GFT for many years now, but especially during the merge.
Mm-hmm. And can you give also more a glimpse and more inputs about this strategic technology program, and then how GFT working on that, the technology, Guidewire, clouds, and the partnership of GFT on that, let's say, major program?
Yeah, of course. So for PNC, property and casualty, on one side we had the legacy systems before the merge, and on the other company, the other side, we had the Guidewire on-premise suite that was deployed. So we have decided to go forward with the Guidewire suite. First, we did migrate the on-prem version to the cloud version, and then we did the merge for claims, for policy, for billing, and we have just got live last weekend for commercial lines. And it's been major projects for the last 5 years, but the merge was most focused on the first 3 years for claims and policy and billing. And we've been working with GFT because GFT is local. They have a very strong experts for Guidewire. They speak French because I speak French. Most of us speak French, but as you can see, we speak English also. And for me, GFT was a key partner for helping us to be successful in that merger for Guidewire. And also for one of my colleagues, Julie, that is in charge of group insurance, where GFT is providing the same kind of help for another product that we call high-tech in group insurance. So GFT definitely is a key partner for us and for me. And that being said, we are now investing a lot more, especially on PNC. GFT is my main partner in order to help us be successful and achieve very, very good success and results together.
I think that's our approach, to have our global capabilities, GFT, but also play locally right? So this global, local approach to have agility and talk and support our clients locally, right, with the agility that is needed, right, so on the edge, right. So if you in Canada, in Quebec, right, and I have a question here, but you already started responding. Why GFT, right? So that's the competitive advantage, the differentiation of a GFT that Beniva perceives.
Yeah. So first, GFT is local. That is very important for us, especially for the French language. As I said earlier, our natural language is French, and GFT local here in Quebec, they all speak French. So this is very important for us. Then your partnership with Gadwar, because you have a lot of Gadwar experts, more than 100. A lot of them are with us, and I hope it will continue this way. But again, also for you to have few market shares, I understand that. But this expertise is recognized here on the local market for the carriers local here, now more and more in Canada, but especially for Beniva. So you are my main partner for Gadwar. So, and it's been recognized for many years now. We've been working for more than 10 years, GFT and Beniva, around the expertise of Gadwar, and you've been always there. What I like also with GFT is we work as partners, not only customer, provider. We have regular follow-up meetings, exec level, every 2 weeks, every, I think, 6 weeks with my CIO and levels over me. And we've been always addressing challenges, maybe sometimes issues, and always found solution. And that's why I call partnership. And on my side, I try to give back. So that's why we do press release, we do customer testimonies, anything that you want us to do, to talk to maybe new customers, potential customers. That's the kind of thing we're doing in order to give back, because you want us to be successful. You are part of the success of Beneva's merge, but also our current investments. So those are the many reasons why GFT is important for us here in Quebec.
Very good. And I also got to know that Beniva has gained a reputation of for being among of the most innovative insurance companies in Canada. And can you talk about that? So your appetite for innovation, to move forward, to implement things new, to be implement Guidewire, right? New technologies, clouds, etc. Can you also elaborate on that?
Yes, with great pleasure. So first, when you want to innovate, I think one of the base foundation is to have an IT ecosystem that is up to date. So as I said earlier, we have chosen a software as a service first approach, and the merge did bring that kind of amazing opportunity to invest in IT in all of the areas you can imagine in a company like us. So we did modernize everything. So today we are to the latest SaaS software we're using for PNC as Gadwire, for group insurance, for life and health, for BI, and all of that. So that brings out a lot of opportunities because we perform our updates regularly. So we are always up to date with our providers. We have access to their latest features, their latest AI feature, Gen AI feature, agentic AI. One example of that is 1 month before Gadwire has done their annual event in Las Vegas called Gadwire Connections, and they'll announce a bunch of new features around AI and Gen AI that we now have access to Beniva. And I think we're the carrier in Canada the most advanced in terms of IT because we have modernized everything. The merge gave us this incredible opportunity, and now we're more in the innovation phase. So we are investing a lot in digital, in automation, AI, Gen AI, because we have the technology that allow us to do that. and also the partners ecosystem like GFT that allows us to do this. And also I think for Gadwire, we're one of the top 2 most advanced worldwide customers of Gadwire. We're using all of their latest products in the suite and features. And because of GFT, we're now doing our 3 updates per year, like they're asking all of their carriers to do. We're using things like the Advanced Product Designer because we have done the conversion with GFT. We're using Jutro as digital because we've been working with GFT for going to the cloud and having access to these latest features. So those are many examples of the things we are now doing, and we can now do, in order to innovate on our side. And I think because we hear that quite a lot, we are now recognized for that here in Canada. And not Canada, but I've been traveling quite a few times in many places in the world in the last 2 years. We hear a lot more and more about Beneva worldwide, not only in Canada.
It's fantastic to be partnered with you and such a company that is leading, especially on the guide-to-wire platform, right, in the roads. So it's very good for us, and we are very proud for that. Thanks for the partnership. And to conclude, in terms of artificial intelligence specifically, we discussed a lot about this topic. How can we differentiate ourselves from the hype outside? The hype, lots of noise outside, but there are really potential interesting elements of AI that can be brought to the business or to the IT. So how are you guys thinking on that possibility of AI for Beneva in terms of claims, underwriting, you name it, right? How do you see that?
Yeah, so at Beneva, we're trying to see how we can augment our efficiency, how we can also lower our operational costs. And you know, hiring new talent is not that easy. I don't know how it is in the other countries, but in Canada, it's still a challenge. So we're trying to do more with the persons that we have. So that's where Gen AI comes into play in order to automate some business processes that we have for our employees, for our customers. How can we bring more and more self-service online with digital on the mobile app? How can we improve the way we work in IT to automate some testing tools like unit testing, functional testing, user acceptance testing, without having to perform all of that manually? How can the machine generate code for our developers in Gadwire? So those are the many areas where we are having action items right now, early accesses with some of our partners like Workday and also Gadwire, and other things that we are looking to improve, like when I've been asking GFT to do our 3 updates per year in Gadwire, and they are now automating that more and more with Gen AI in order to lower the time we take for each update. So that's the kind of example that things we are in action, and we're looking at Beneva in order to improve our processes the way we, and also maybe for the agents and claims adjuster can detect more calls on the phone where the machine generates more information and it takes them less time to analyze specific claims, or on the other side to provide a code or a policy change more faster. So those are other areas where we're looking to improve, and we're working that with our SI partners, and GFT, you're one of our major SI partner right now.
Fantastic, Eric. Eric, look, you could not be more proud and happy to have you with us. Any final message? Anything that you would like to bring to the team here?
But I would like to thank you, everyone, because you are a great partner. You've been with us for many years, and I hope that we will be together for many years to come. We have so much to achieve together. You guys are great. You're always there. We can do the real things together. You are always helpful for us, and I really appreciate that. And I really look forward to all the many things we will achieve together, and we'll be proud to having achieved together as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you. Thank you very much, Eric. Thank you for the participation. Andreas,
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Eric and Marco, for this inspiring insight into Beniva's journey and into the long and trustful partnership between Beniva and GFT. And again, framing the important role of AI shaping tomorrow's financial industry. So, well, all things need to come to an end, and we are approaching there very fast now. So, Marco, the last slot is reserved for you for some closing remarks.
Thank you, Andreas. So I'd like just to reinforce some key message that we have conveyed right across the whole event. So first, we believe on our strategy. We truly believe on the creation, competitive advantage, differentiation using AI for the benefits of information technology. We believe on that. The team believes on that. We have a strategy that is centered on that, to be the best responsible AI-centric digital transformation company in the world, positioning ourselves as a challenger, as a company that I want to challenge the status quo. I want to really bring tangible results with artificial intelligence to our clients, to challenge their legacy, the traditional ecosystems, the incumbents, and bring really competitive advantage for the benefits of our clients, for the benefits of GFT, for the benefits of our shareholders. So that's number one. Number two, we truly believe on large-scale opportunities that we have in front of us. We discussed that a lot. So the modernization per se is something huge, immense, that is going to happen. It is going to happen. The companies must modernize, especially those major organizations, tier 1, tier 2, bank, payments, credit cards, insurance, manufacturing, defense, especially defense industry. All of them need to modernize, to take their technology to a next level, and that those opportunities were never there before. They are unfolded now. They are unlocked, with artificial intelligence. And I think that we lead in that journey with a technology that brings a clear differentiation for us, which is WIMPs. We can really be a strong player on that field. And also on top of that, we have our data AI business units, intelligence business units that is moving very strong with several cases that is moving forward. And then all our differentiation, our offerings and services with the ISVs, our own products like Smart Act. We are investing in Smart Act. We are going to make it really, really, really powerful and successful. It's a competitive advantage, a leading product in that. And now we need to keep moving right with the recent announcements. And by the way, the recent announcement today, and also GB, FICO, etc. So we truly see some areas of large-scale opportunities, and more than happy to obviously to move the company with focus, with prioritization. We need to focus on what matters. We need to focus on what has moved the needle with the key clients, the tier 1, tier 2, land and expand on clients that can become a tier 1, push for the right profitability, and do what we are calling engineering growth for the company and engineering profitability, and create a virtual cycle. And obviously, I'm not going to repeat all the strategic initiatives, and we are executing that with a mission focus. And more than happy to be with all of you, and look forward, right, to see the next announcements, the things that we are bringing to the market, clients, partnerships, and results. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Marco. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we officially conclude today's Capital Markets Day. A sincere thank you to all our speakers and all of you for joining us and contributing to such an engaging afternoon. We now invite you to stay with us for some drinks, at least the ones who are here in person. Sorry for them participating online. Outside in the hall, we prepared some small things, and please take the opportunity to network, to continue the conversations, and to enjoy the early evening in a relaxed atmosphere. Thank you very much again. See you soon.